Hey there, War Gamers, Just the Iron Painter here, and we are now live. For the handful of you guys that tuned in early, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Looks like we got Snoofy here. It says, "Sup, duder? What up?" And we got Lord 17C, Mr. Bob, saying, "In like Flynn." Makes me think of, I think it's Flynn from Tron. I don't think he ever said that. But the name Flynn makes me think of him. Also, Bob, if you didn't see it yesterday, my new coffee cup. Protect, attack, take naps. It's adorable. Hey, what's up, Colby? How you doing, man? Let me set this, man. This is some good coffee today. Good coffee today. Alright, guys, so as we get started, as usual, I hope you guys have been having an awesome week. I hope your holidays were good. If you've been getting any hobby progress in that you would like to share with us, I highly encourage you to throw up some photos in our Facebook and our Discord, and, or, hopefully all three, tag me on Instagram when you throw up a cool photo. That's funny. You just be like, "That's Justin the Armed Painter. That's his mating battle call." What is a mating battle call? I don't know. It just sounded funny. Something like that's what it was. This shit's funny. But yeah. So, I had something cool. That's hilarious. Oh, man. That kills me. Oh, it cracks me up so much, man. Nice, Nick. I was just talking to Wheels yesterday. He actually made it to the stream. Yeah, we were talking about you a little bit. Let's see here. So, I had something cool come up yesterday. If you guys didn't see it, we're going to talk about it for a moment. Hang on.
We are the Emperor's chosen.
Oh, Snoofy, you didn't have to do that. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. That puts us at 25 subs or 26 subs for the month. Thank you. Thank you. What's up, Mr. Clan Wolf? Let's update our bot here as well while we're at it. And I'm digging up this link here. Nomadic Chris Adams is here too. What? What? If you guys aren't following this guy, hit that follow button. Show some hobby love. He was working on a sick-ass axe, some non-metallic metal this morning. Well, actually, disregard. He has worked on a sick-ass non-metallic metal axe on his dwarf, but this morning when I went to bed, he was working on the beard. I'm not sure where he got, because I had to go to bed. Royalties for the ringtone! Oh, that's funny. Hey, that's pretty awesome, Colby. Yeah, Nomadic, if you want to throw up a photo there, if you've got some progress, I'd be happy to show it on stream. Check it out. All right, let's find this post I'm tagged in. All right, I'll show you guys what's going down. I was at work really late too. So yesterday I get tagged by Blaine Lee Purdue. I honestly wasn't sure what theme I was doing. It's fair. Something stuck in my head. So this guy, Blaine Lee Purdue, he he tags this guy and 48 other people, one of which was me. And I was like, why is this guy tagging me? I don't know who this is. I thought it was spam. And then it says winter is coming and so is our. Let me click this. He's an author and he's doing a book for Catalyst. He is currently promoting Hour of the Wolf that comes out in January. It says diplomacy clan style. Malvina shouldn't have dared to refuse Anastasia's batch haul. So shit's about to get real. This is during the Dark Age era, because I believe, I think Anastasia Krinsky's Dark Age, Natasha's clan invasion, era. A little before, a little after type thing, but I think Anastasia's Dark Age. And that's a Mad Cat Mark, 2? No, not 2, 3, 2, 4? Hell, I know. Whatever. That's a Jade Falcon, I think it's a Shrike. I don't remember exactly. All I know is I remember seeing it in Dark Age. So anyway, he's updating, or getting an update, and he's given a list of people who will appear in the Hour of the Wolf. So I was like, where is this going? So then I searched for my name, and when you get to the Hour of the Wolf, and he's listing the people from the Kickstarter that are going to be in it, it's a huge list of people. It's a very significant list of people, but my name is on it. Right there. So, I don't know to what degree my character, and I don't know the difference as well between Kickstarter characters and non-Kickstarter characters. And then they've got other books as well. But I'm shocked there was this many, because I picked my character to be in the Dark Age era, and I thought most people were going to be Clan Invasion era, so that's a interesting change of events. But yeah, that is me. And oh no, they asked for information. Where is my character? Is it this one? Yeah. So this is my character. They don't have my info here, but my name is Justin Callsign Cloud Hall. My quote: "Rise or fall, it matters not. We must move forward at all costs." Inner Sphere, Republic of the Sphere, Republic of the Sphere, Ghost Knight, Major. So if they actually pull from the information they asked for. I am concerned as to which side of that novel that I'm going to be on, given that in the Dark Age era the Republic is falling, and I'm hoping it doesn't happen, but there's a chance that I might be on the wrong side of that PPC being blasted. I don't know why I would be hanging out with Jade Falcon, but I am a merc, so who knows? I might get blasted. I don't know. All I know is my name was tagged, and I was told that this is where my character is going to make an appearance. I don't know if this is the only place, because we did do the extension on the on the character for Wave 2, which is supposed to go towards like your prominence in a story and whatnot. Psycho, thank you. I appreciate that. Keeping that view here. What's up, Zoe? So I don't know how that's going to be taken into account because this was written before Wave 2. So I assume if my character gets capped, that any of those funds would go towards better artwork or card or whatever. But who knows? We'll see. I'm hoping that it's particularly cool, and if I make it into multiple novels, that would be awesome. But I don't know. You can't make any promises. Actually, I don't want to say promises. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'll know in January when the book comes out. So, I'm pretty excited about it. As Nomadic Chris said here, your being in the story is amazing. It's something to truly geek out over. I think so too. I'm not sure how it's gonna go, but we'll see. We'll see. But it was nice that they got a chunk of the Kickstarters and the backers in, and I will have official canon character, even if it's a small portion of something. If my character doesn't get murdered, then it's something that can be pointed out as he's alive in the universe. Other stories and whatnot, or fanfic type stuff would be cool, but we'll see. So that said, we got a picture here from Mr. Nomadic. Update progress or screen grab of his little battle dwarf, Slashy McStabby or something. Slashy McSmashy? Stabby McSlashy? I forget what I called him. Hey, I like those little highlights on the braids right there. That turned out really nice. Hey, maybe if enough people hype him up. Oh man. Well, Clan Wolf had you backed a canon character in the Kickstarter. I totally would have had you Stabby McSlash. I definitely would have had you connect your story. That was something you could do in the backer kit. You could mention people by name and you know, kind of mention in your description the person and their character to try and connect. It would have been really cool to connect with you. I tried to connect with John. I don't know how that's going to work. He wasn't tagged in that. He said that he wrote his story information to coincide with mine, but who knows? I don't know. But yeah, yo, dude, I'm digging it. I think you're a little bit harder on yourself for the non-metallic metal. It still would have been pretty cool though, to be able to point to it and then have like an official entry on Sarna because it's canon, it's in a book, and there's reference number pages and stuff. That would have been super cool, man. Super cool. But anyway, I think you're being too hard on yourself, Mr. Nomadic. I think this looks great. I do think you were right. The bottom of the blade looks a little better, but I have no doubt that you won't clean that up. I'm sure you'll get it a little bit smoother, but I like it nonetheless. Skin tones look really, really nice, and I love that the little highlights you got on the beard. That's looking great. Oh, that's fair. Was it... What did you do that was not metallic? I know you did some, like, sword blending. Anyways, this looks really good. And like I was saying, I think you're a little hard on yourself, but it looks dope nonetheless. So I think we all have a way of being our own worst critic, and you definitely have a way of keeping it humble and having an unfortunately sometimes a little bit low opinion of yourself, I feel. But I will continue to give you my opinion on how good your stuff is and try and help keep you motivated and get you back on a straight and narrow if you're deviating and not feeling good about what you're doing, because it looks great. Yep. Also, it's all really awesome when I get to catch up with you during streams in the morning. It usually means I'm going to wake up really tired. I'm fucking exhausted right now. But it's always nice. I feel like if I had to get up in the morning and drive to work or something, I'd pop on your stream and listen to you ramble. Pretty cool. So, Richard Harris, thank you for the like over on Facebook. But let's go ahead and switch screens here. I forgot I had to turn this thing on. I don't know why. At the shop I don't have to turn it on. It's just already on. There's some setting somewhere that's messed up. There we go. And Nomadic, I got the coffee now. I got it. Protect, attack, take naps. All right. Ugh. So delicious. Okay. Let's get our music to something a little bit more interesting. There we go. And let's tune it down just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so you guys have been keeping up with my progress on my bunkers. So this was the Mark 1. Looks like a water tower. Or like the thing from The Mummy where she goes... You know, that's my sound effects. She opens the book of Amun-Ra or Emotech or, you know, stabby bad guy shit. Here's the Mark II. The better design. Looks clean. I have one at the shop that I did not cut yesterday. That is the half height. So it'll just be the windowed bunker. I did cut that. And then last night I spent my whole night at work making this. It has playable surface. Not a lot of it, but there's a couple spots a mech could stand. And if you're, you know, if you and your opponent agree, like, you could have the mech kind of half standing, because it will hold most of it. There will be a little bit of a lip, but it's up to you and your opponent. But guaranteed 2 for sure. And then up here, so that works. And yeah, so it's got the little inset door, so it's not flat, it goes in a little bit. Got this door. I want to change some things on this. So right here, I want to have this type of banding come around here, and then I want it to interface here, so like it clamps. I think that would be really neat, and help keep the overall look. And because I've got these little nubbins here, that would work out fine, I think. I want to take this and I want to expand it out and have it come down a little bit and clamp on the outside type thing, right? And then maybe come up, like cut a hole in this and have that same clamp that comes down here come out and around and kind of mirror these pieces up here. So something
We
more.
are the Emperor's chosen.
On it. Hey, Daph, thank you. I appreciate that. Subversary. 32 months. 32, almost 3 years, man. Almost. Clown Wolf's got that 3-year badge. Thank you. I appreciate that. That puts us at 27 subs for the month. 27. Muchos gracias. How are you doing? How's the new computer? How's work? Also, I like how low-key in the corner we got a little nomadic peeking. Like, he's just like, hey. Hey. I see you. I see you. Big boo, Justin. That's funny. Anyway, so I'm thinking about having this bar here, when it comes out, interfaces here. Maybe it comes up and around and kind of grabs on right there. He's laughing. It's so funny. Play a while he naps. Ain't getting no painting done playing our World of Warcraft. Oh, you were talking about his blade. Yeah. It definitely turned out pretty hype, man. Very cool. I know I've liked it before. It's been a while. This is back in June. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at that. I think the axe is looking dope. Pretty dope. And down here in the background, you can see it there, but there's a librarian I'm gonna win right here. It's gonna have. What's up, Dragon? Yo, I tried to cut your bases yesterday, and they failed. There's a reason why they were too expensive to bring to market. Getting the settings right and stuff, they failed. The other guy, Adam's going to be there today cutting orders. When I get there tonight, I'm going to try and get you some bases cut and throw them into your package, if I can get them to work. It took like 50-something minutes to cut like 18 bases or something, and they failed. It was not right. Something was completely wrong. And I used the settings that are supposed to be used, so I can't make promises, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try. I'm going to go to my parents' after stock appointment, but all that got canceled because my dad has COVID last night, and kiddo was being babysat by my mom Mondays. Oh, that's not good, man, but I hope he's okay. It's not any, like, super positive words other than just saying, hope he's okay. You know, I don't want to sound stupid. You know, I know that's a stressful thing to deal with, so. Hey, that's awesome. And B, you know me, I've been rambling. Anyways, as I was preparing to troll just a wee bit, no matter, Chris got my fallen librarian back here. He's just teasing me. He's just teasing me. I'm gonna win it. I'm gonna win. I can feel it. I can feel it at my core. Darth Maul can feel it. Can you feel it? I can feel it. I can feel the Force. If I don't win that model, somebody's gonna feel the Force just showing up. Gonna get a plane ticket to the house. I'm just kidding. I'm not communicating threats. It's just funny. When and how? I gotta work. When and how? Please tell me. I will make sure that I try and swing by and do what I do. I hate to like enter something and not be there, but like it's really hard to make it to the streams because it's so late. Thank you. That would be great. Gonna have to try and get my my mojo in there. You know. Anyway, let me switch here. So we were talking about this one with things I want to do. Those two things I need to adjust. Like those bandings were fine. This one wasn't, but I'm not sure exactly why. I lined up there fine. That wasn't. Maybe it's just, I don't know. This isn't quite flush here, so I gotta figure out what's going on for why. Like that one was flush. I don't know why that one wasn't. Who knows? But I got some minor tweaks on some spacing that I gotta do. I messed up on these. That gap isn't supposed to be there, so they weren't tall enough. That's an easy fix. And you can see the windows aren't level with those windows. And that's the problem. And then this side we got a little door. Wraparound stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Like a little reinforced HQ bunker thing. And one of the things I want to do is I want to have this platform, which is one piece. It's actually this piece right here. I want to have that pulled out, and then a small hex, and switch the helipad to that hex, and then have this cut and a little path to here, and then I want to have a satellite dish on it. So this is kind of the command bunker. I may even do it where there's a little asymmetry. Maybe I'll have the helipad come off at an angle this way, so it actually lines up with a hex directly. So I go doot, and then doot. Coming off here is natural, because that's flat, but that's in the middle of a hex. So if I do it here, it can break off. It'll have a little asymmetry to the building in there. Yeah, we do it to bases all the time. Base toppers. And that's acrylic. And all of my widgets for 40K that I sell to help support what I do are made out of acrylic, and they've got raster on them. Hang on one second. So like this is acrylic, and that's raster. This is what your bases that I was cutting were supposed to do, except it's a deep raster and it's cutting out the design out of the or the thing. It's not like a light raster where like this is just cutting a quick, well, it's not quick, but cutting a picture in. Yours that I'm doing for those bases has to blast the material away and make it really, really thin. And it messed up, so we if I can. We can't do anything copyrighted, but for sure. Have you seen my mech hangers? I made some of those. Hold, please. I will grab them. There's a whole box of stuff behind me. And a bag of Christmas candy that you guys just heard from. Oh. Yeah, Clan Wolf, those are exactly the bases we made for you. It's exactly those bases. Yep. Okay, so we won't grab all of them. I'll just grab one. So yeah, little hanger. Specifically, what would be cool is to have that cut out, an acrylic piece slides in right here, and then have an etched logo and an LED, and it casts up on it. That would be really neat, and easy to do. Yep. If somebody wanted to do that themselves, obviously we can't sell the we can't sell anything with copyright images, but we could make it to where that cuts out, so that they don't have to do it. They could just be like, "Hey, I want walls with the circle cut out because I want to make my own image to go back there," and that's easy enough to do. Or if I had a limited edition run where we had the TAP logo, it'd have to be small, but like that, you know, smaller, etched in. That would be pretty neat. Pretty neat. Because like I'm designing a base that I would want my merch to be at. That's exactly what's happening. Exactly what is happening. So having my logo somewhere on there makes a little sense. Oh, that's funny. That's a little. Oh man, off the building up. Oh, you're falling apart, William. Get over there. You're floppy dopper. I can't wait to have more space. I have such little space. If I move the wrong way, stuff falls. Like, that was bad. I almost knocked over my table that has stuff all over it. Ugh. I'll give tabletop presents. That's fair. DS, Deep Strike. Anyway, designing it to be the mercenary like base for the MFA, my merc. Yeah. So anyway, back to where I was going. I want to have a jut out with a hex for the helipad, a little walkway to here. Have a little resin piece Austin has designed to go here with a satellite dish that sits off of it. How does what work for Wheels? Oh, I think he typed DIS. Oh man, no matter Chris got me, he sent me a link and I was like, oh, it's the giveaway. It was just Clan Wolf's picture. Hello? Is this working? Oh, are you there? Oh, now it's being dumb again. Hang on. Gotta reload that Discord. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Can anyone hear Clan Wolf?
No.
Clan Wolf with his cheesy fingers. Making cheese curds. Cheese turds. Churds. Yep.
No.
Poo peach.
No. I wish I could make cheese curds. I can make money that way.
That's right. Dragon, I saw that too. I'm hoping that it's. We talked about that at the beginning of the stream. I'm hoping it's not a one-pager. I'm really hoping that it'll be something significant. Especially, like, I'm concerned because we, you guys, helped fund my character expansion before Wave 2 ended. That book was written before Wave 2 ended. So I'm hoping that carries over for a continuation of story or art or something. That's my hope. So we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty excited. I had very high hopes early on that more of my friends would have been involved, and they weren't, unfortunately. As I was just talking to Clan Wolf not too long ago about it, I really wanted to have a lot of, my character, like, so if you look at his breakdown on the website, if it has a name, a dash, and another name, One is their real name and one is their character name. My character in the story is based off my character I put in for canon, and I named it after myself. It is me in the Battletech universe with the call sign Cloud. That's me. Yep. They don't have my full information here, but they got my quote. It says, "Rise or fall, it matters not. We must move forward at all costs." Unfortunately, I chose the Inner Sphere and the Republic of the Sphere specifically as my place that I hail from, because that's where I started in the Battletech universe, and I thought it was prudent to do that. And they put me in a book where I'm the main character here is Anastasia Kerensky, Dark Age era Clan Wolf stuff, or Widowmakers at that point. I can't remember if she picked or if they continued that with that. I know that existed, but there was like Clan Wolf and then Steel Wolves and Widowmakers when I was playing. So there's kind of fragmented Clan Wolf stuff at the time. So it might not fare very well for me. So we'll see. But my character is a merc in disguise, so to speak. So we'll see how they handle it and if I survive. So in either case, I think it'll be fun.
You might be getting murked.
Yeah, I hope not. Lando's like, "You're gonna die."
You gonna die.
No one has any faith.
Remember the oft-forgotten book of the Bible, the Book of Sean. You're gonna burn.
I mean, I feel like that's a reference to a movie that I've not seen.
It's actually not. It's no one here is gonna get it because it's a reference to my own real life.
Oh, that's fair.
So, towards the end, while I was up in a different city, different town, village even, they had Awanas, kind of, non-denominational after-school church stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I went was because, like, a whole bunch of guys I knew at high school played Magic, and they played Magic there after school, so I went. And there was one guy named Sean who, whenever any of the preachers, pastor, whatever you call them, would say, well, if you did, this bad thing, he would always interject with, "You're gonna burn." So we made the Book of Sean, which was just a single page that just said, "You're gonna burn."
The Page of Sean.
No, because it's a book. It's gotta be a book because all the parts of the Bible are books.
I mean, that's fair.
So it was just funny.
Well, I don't appreciate you finding my demise funny, damn it. It's not funny. You're supposed to be on my side.
It's freaking hilarious.
Whatever. Whatever. If my mercenary unit shows up correctly, or company shows up, A, that's fucking dope because it's in a book and it's real. B, if I come in rolling in a Mad Dog played or piloted properly, it's gonna be awesome. That's how I feel. So we'll see.
You're gonna die like Sir Daniel Fortescue.
Don't know who that is.
It's a game called Medieval, and in the game's story is Sir Daniel Fortescue talked himself up to be this really awesome hero and whatnot, and he really wasn't. But then an actual challenge comes up with this sorcerer named Zarok, and the king goes, "Well, Daniel, you'll lead my army. Go get him." And on the very first arrow, the very first volley of the very first charge of the battle, he gets nailed in the eye and dies.
Well, let's hope that I don't go out like that. And Dragon's point, having some characters survive would be cool. I agree, not just because it's me, but it would be cool.
I'm just giving you shit.
I know.
It would actually be pretty shitty if you just went out and got murked in the very first book.
Yeah, I mean, I am under no illusion that a bunch of those characters listed that is what's going to happen to them.
Oh, yeah.
But Catalyst did say that they were trying to prevent that from happening. They didn't want to just have a footnote where it was like, well, on this page there's a glorious battle and here's a list of everyone who died. Like they're not wanting to do that because that's not going to feel good for anyone. But some people are going to have to go and some are going to get to stay. It's just the nature of things in a war novel.
Well, the thing is, you could also just not show up in the fight too.
I mean, that's also true. Maybe that's what happens. We'll see.
You could be just like the person that has a nice conversation in the bar.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, it's not great, but you didn't die.
I don't know. I want to show up in glorious combat. Damn it.
And it does leave you the chance and the ability to show up again.
That is true.
'Cause
Well,
this
given
like,
his profession or his job
Dino
within...
spotted.
Hey, get a little raid. His profession in the universe, that would make sense if he wasn't... or he would have some blending in capabilities.
I was gonna say, aren't Ghost Knights basically also covert ops spies and shit?
Yep.
So, yeah, you could just show up to be the dude in the corner.
Let's see. The Kaminsky, thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? I'm giving you guys a moment to load up. Some of you might still be watching some ads, at which point you won't hear me saying this, but hello. Welcome. I think what would be more likely to occur, given my character's backstory, is running a mercenary unit to kind of do the Republic's bidding, so to speak, without them officially doing things. I think it'd be more likely that he gets hired by someone and they don't realize that he's more interested in the opposing force winning than them.
So he potentially does a bad job and has malfunctions and issues.
Yep.
Which is great if your army thinks you've got like this awesome whole company of battle mechs in the background. They might go a little bit harder, and then all of a sudden your backup has, this weird amount of sabotage, or just like these engines aren't turning on for some reason. These targeting systems aren't working. We can't fire without accidentally hitting you.
Yeah, the big deal would be because like in the Merc unit and the way Ghost Knights would operate, you're one. Most other people don't. So like in canon for my character, the mercenary pilots that work for them would have no idea. They think it's normal. So like finding if you're gonna do something that goes against the contract or has different motives, making sure that the justification or reason feels like what it should. Not just like, well, we're gonna betray these people. It's like, no. We need something that makes it believable. Otherwise, your reputation as a merc kind of gets tarnished. So
yeah, and then people don't hire you, and
yep.
Well, that cover story blows now.
And Dragon, I saw your redemption for the treat. I will pick up a treat for the doggo when I refill my coffee in a little bit. So, Dragon, did you see the post in the Facebook group, or did you, the Battletech group, or did you see me post it? Because I got tagged yesterday by the author, and I thought that it was spam, and I was like, who's this guy? I don't know who this is.
Yeah, just like when you tagged me this morning, I'm like, okay, it's a weird-looking book. I assume it's a Dark Age book? Okay, whatever.
Oh, I thought you would have actually clicked it to see why I shared it. That's why I kept it vague.
No, I'm too lazy to do that half the time.
Oh my god.
You give me way too much credit.
I mean, somebody's got to give you credit.
Why do you think I try to pick army colors that are easy to do? I lied to myself.
I don't play yellow armies.
As I said, as I lie to myself, as he goes, oh yeah, I picked world leaders in the white old Horus Heresy colors. Yeah, that's easy. Oh, what about the other one? Night Lords? Oh, so you're gonna do all that lighting? Yeah. Like, yeah, okay, maybe not.
Oh,
I tried
Dragon,
to be like-
was that on Facebook or Discord? Was it Discord? Facebook? Instagram? Okay. Oh! I didn't know that was you. Okay, that explains that. Got it. Yeah.
That explains so much.
Yep. I'm telling you, I'm not good with like names, usernames and real names. It's a hard thing to keep straight.
So I found out today
What'd you find out?
that I'm gonna have to wait till I come down and hang out with you again to use that gift card that Java sent me.
Can you not use it online?
No, you can't use it online.
Well, Java said there's a little scratchy thing on it you can use.
Oh, is that what that thing is?
That's what he
Wait,
told
what?
me. Because I was talking about it. I couldn't figure out where to put it in, but I also didn't scratch the dealio off.
Oh, I didn't know there was a scratchy thing.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the chaplain on bike is sold out, so that's what I was going to put it towards. I figured it would go a long way towards that, and I was like, that seems reasonable, and I know I'll paint that. And then, of course, they put the preview up for the new land speeder, which I actually do like. I don't care for the ATVs, but the new land speeder looks dope to me.
The land speeder looks pretty dope.
But I'm just like, I need to resist urge to spend money on 40K right now. I have plenty of things to do. Yeah, you're talking about Devlin Stone, right? Or something Stone, the guy who started the Republic of the Sphere. Yeah. I'm really excited. I know a little bit about a little bit from Battletech. It's little bits and pieces, and things get murky and blurry, which is part of Battletech. It's just the way it is. But I've been rereading through Michael Stackpole's Ghost War recently to get me like pumped for some Battletech. It's a story that follows Mason Dunn. It's also why I want his MechWarrior Dark Age click. So if anyone has one they want to trade, you let me know. It's my favorite character. It's been really interesting. But like, reading a book, there's certain things that they reference that you don't know what's going on. And I mean, there's not a whole lot of them either. Even on Sarna, there's only a handful that are listed. But he is amazing. Very good story. Victor Steiner Davian. Yeah, in the book, I just finished a chapter where he was talking to him, and when he's discussing it, like he's only speculating why Victor picked him because he didn't think that he really had what it took to be what he was, or what he's been out to be. But Victor kind of took him on as a hobby and has crafted him, forged him into something, which is interesting. But point is, in the book, he references some characters I don't know. I half knew when he mentioned Morgan Kell and Phelan Kell what he was talking about. And when he mentioned them, I think he was referencing, no, that's when he was talking to Victor. They was talking about why, certain traits Victor liked, and there was some connection early Republic before they were forged with those two characters. But then he referenced like the Kell Hounds and the, was it the Kell Hounds and Wolf's Dragoons, early on when he was talking about people who thought they were good mercenaries and compared themselves to them, but they weren't, or something like that. And I was like, that's cool. I only know vaguely who some of these characters are, and the first time I read that book, I had no idea who those people were. So there's a lot of stuff you get that you don't know. So being able to get more stories and some clarification would be great. Also, if I'm honest, I might PP myself a little bit if we ever got some movies or a TV show, an actual good show, not the silly cartoon. Yeah. I think it would be awesome. I think we have the technology to do pretty awesome battle mech stuff on screen, and I think we could do it justice personally. And people who aren't familiar with Battletech could still find value in a sci-fi thing with stompy robots and a good story. So that's my thought process.
Yeah, look at Gundam.
Oh yeah, I'd watch a Gundam movie any day. An actual one, not like an anime thing. Man, I'm fine with anime. I just have a hard time getting involved with them, especially if it's dubbed over or subtitled rather. Because I listen rather than watch most of the time because I'm always doing something while I'm watching TV, and I can't read an anime show while I'm painting. So I've had Austin and a few people recommend I try and watch Attack on Titan over the years, and I don't have the time to read it while I'm watching it.
Yeah, you're pretty good off.
That's fair, Dragon. Yeah, the way they described Victor in the book was really cool. But it's been a long time since I read through it, so I've been reading through it again when I get home early enough to read before bed. Last night I was actually disappointed I got home so late because it was too late to try and read. And if I had sat down and read for an hour or two, it would have been 6 or 7 in the morning, and I would have been wired. One of the problems I have reading that book is it gets me motivated to want to do Battletech shit, and I need to go to sleep. And also, outside of painting, I don't really have anyone to do Battletech shit with. So, outside the stream, which we'll see how January goes with goals and whatnot, and if I can take a Sunday off work, we'll try and do another Alpha Strike game. Keep on growing what we want to be doing. Hey, Chris Van X, what's up? I've been watching your animations, man, on Instagram. You're definitely coming a long way. Or you've definitely come a long way. I think it's been a little while, but you'd mentioned that's something you were working on, and they're looking pretty cool. But I appreciate the view.
You're hosting these live hours on DRDs, aren't you?
I can't dual stream to them, so I have to pick one or the other.
Yeah.
So
if you're doing the live streams on DRD's Twitch channel, right?
They were on mine.
Oh, okay. Because if you were doing it on DRD's, I'm not saying you could convince Austin that it would be business, but technically it would be business because if you get enough followers, then people start subbing, and he'd be making money off of that.
If there was
Not
other opportunities to do at work, Austin's offered to let me do one stream a week at work as long as it didn't conflict with any major. What's up, Java? As long as it didn't conflict with any busy time, like if we really need to be running machines, he was cool with it. There's just not been a lot of stuff to do and to schedule, and it would be hard for me to transport the paint stuff that I need.
Yeah.
So it hasn't come up, but there was an opportunity to potentially get an extra stream in or shift a stream and do it at work while I'm getting paid. Nothing's come up. Malefic Miniatures, what's up? So that is an opportunity, and if it grew, Austin would 100% pay me to do content creation if it was in a position where that was warranted.
I still say we need another Austin tutorial.
I've told him that. At the very least, finishing his DIY building would be good. He's doing a lot of 3D design work. He made a zombie robot mech last night for another content creator's game.
Why doesn't he just do that?
I think in that case, some of it's a little hush hush.
Oh, okay.
With that particular design, we're gonna be he's designing. He will be designing and then producing and selling miniatures for an expansion for a content creator's game, and we'll be selling the STLs and the 3D prints to people. But it's not become public yet, so.
But he could also having him do, the next DRD project that's not going to be super hush hush. Just watching him build a thing in the 3D modeler that you guys have with him talking it over and his, basically monologuing what he's, his thought process is, probably wouldn't be that bad.
I agree with you. Lando, I agree that's something I want to do. I've talked about it. a lot of the issue I have is I want to be able to schedule things that I want to do, and if I can't go to the shop or I need to divert, I want to be able to do them at home. I don't want to be locked into I can only produce this content at the shop, and now I've locked in that I want to be doing it, so now I have a schedule. So there was a time before you were hanging out, Lando, where I moved my whole stream rig here was at DRD. So I would go to work, and then at a certain time I would be off work, and then I would start streaming for 3 to 4 hours, and then everyone else left work by the time I was ever done, and then I would clock out of the stream, close down the shop, and then I would come home, and I'd go back and I'd do it again. And I was spending basically my time today. I would have went to work early, and then I would have streamed in the evening at work, and I'm at work for 16 hours, 5 days a week or something, and I needed that space. So I don't mind doing stuff there. I don't mind gaming. I want to make sure that any content that I lock in to want to be able to do, that if I'm ever like, you know what, I don't want to make it to the shop today or need to do it at home, that I can do that. So if we get to where I want to be this year, being able to do content at home, then I'll be a lot more comfortable going back and forth. It'll be a lot easier to shift. Or, scheduling extra game night, if we're doing like an RPG like you're talking about, being able to be like, okay, we're going to do like once a month. We hit a goal and we could do more. This month we're going to do 2-1, every other week this month, that kind of thing. And being able to have that flexibility. So it is something I want to do. It is on my radar of things when we can get to it. It's a matter of just trying to grow. I do think that I don't want to sound full of myself or arrogant to any degree. So we'll preface that what I'm going to say with that. I don't think I am the worst artist in the world. I know I'm down on myself sometimes about the quality of what I do and what versus what I want to do and where I get. But I don't think I'm bad. But I think we're to a point where my ability to paint is not going to carry the stream. We got to be doing other stuff, right? So I am very interested in live streamed RPGs and live streamed wargaming. Not as much on like video games, because I think the audience that we've built here is not as interested in watching me play a video game. But I think that there are plenty of people who are very interested in seeing tabletop games and participating in games. So doing something different, because the painting, while I feel competent at it to a degree, is not carrying the day, So like being primed for change and still do the painting and allow parts of what are being painted to bleed into the universe that we're forging for the tabletop, whether we're playing games or RPing or both, allowing it to be there. So that's kind of where I want to go. It's why Alpha Strike the other night was a really good primer for us, I feel, because it was a new thing, an easy one, and people could get involved and could easily, with minimal efforts on everyone's part, transition to a staple. It's really easy for people to get involved. Even so far as like Clan Wolf sent him a mech and he wanted to paint one up, and he did it quick. Not everyone has to, but if someone's like, hey, I really like what you're doing, I want to be involved, being able to inject yourself into the Tap Garrison lore, the Tap Garrison gaming universe and all that is relatively easy, whereas on 40k, like, a standard Space Marine grunt might just fade into obscurity. A battle mech is not. Even a lowly little light, at some point he's going to get on somebody's rear and he's going to get a critical hit and ammo explosion, like some silly thing. Standard Space Marine trooper might do something cool, but like it's not the same, I hear you blowing on stuff. What are you building?
I'm not building anything right now.
Snorting the cocaine.
Yeah. I use pill cups for my paint. For my dropper paints. And I'm blowing one out to get the dusties out and the little junkies.
The little junkies.
I knew you were gonna grab onto that. I was like, God damn it, I said that.
It's okay. I said, what was it yesterday in stream? I said, and forget who it was. I said booger sugar, and somebody in stream had never heard that before.
Yeah. I gotta go out and Well, actually, I have to go online and buy some more.
Booger sugar? Are you getting that online?
Yeah, I'm getting what you want. No, I gotta get some more Army Painter Black.
Wow, that's fair. And yeah, Lando, wasn't trying to ignore you there. Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Finding someone who wants to consistently DM things is not the easiest thing in the world. I've always struggled with it. We do have a guy as part of our kind of team or friends, or he's sort of both. He kind of does a little bit of networking for us and such. But old Joe, and he has a background in doing RPG stuff in Vamp Cat. He used to do that. Was a GM for that for several years in our local area. It's a game I've never played, but he did a lot of it. And I've tried really hard to kind of get him involved with the RP side of DRD as well, and it's been pulling teeth.
Speaking of RPs, I'm actually running one right now.
I think I messaged you the other day, and you were in the middle of a session.
Yep.
What are you running?
Running the old WotC Wizard of the Coast Star Wars D20.
Yeah, I've played that once.
It's an okay system, really, but the major downside to it is the fact that the Jedi classes are so overpowered in it.
Yeah.
That it basically makes it useless for anyone else to play anything else.
Yeah. When I've done Star Wars stuff, which is limited, when I ran, I limited it to like a Jedi for the group.
Yeah,
there was an instance where for a brief moment there was two, but there was a reason that went down the way it did. And the same thing kind of happened in the campaign that I was in with a friend of mine who was running. We limited the number of Jedi, and this was using the FFG one where they're not nearly as bad. But it's not even just about the OP factor. It's more about diversity and trying to encourage players to play different stuff. It's also why, like, in the campaign that I played in last time, I think the GM would have been just fine if there were no Jedi. Kind of like the Mandalorian TV show. Like, you don't need a Glowbat for it to be cool. Ahsoka was awesome, but we didn't need her to make the show awesome. She just added, a little extra icing to one portion of that cake. All too often in Star Wars, the focus is on the Jedi, which I get it, they're cool, but there's so many other cool characters, and trying to deviate from that and give them some time to shine is important.
Yeah, which thankfully the Mandalorian did come out. Because the one guy that he's the one that I've said I've had issues with for the reasons why getting out of Battletech, right?
Yeah.
Last time I tried to do a Star Wars game, I really, really, really didn't want anyone to be a Force user. I really didn't, but he really hammered home about it, and then I ended up with two. This time, because of the Mandalorian, he's like, I'm being pretty cool with doing a game where I'm playing a Mandalorian if we're playing it proper, we're doing it Mandalorians. So it's like, well, if everyone wants to do Mandalorians, I'm down with that. I can do this. Makes it easier on me. I don't have to freaking sit here and come up with anti-Jedi things cause a problem. The problem with the old WotC one is the fact that there are actually two Force powers that have absolutely no level scaling to it and are ridiculously overpowered, and also, if you read it, don't have a save against them.
Which powers?
Friendship and fear.
So I only ask because Lando might be familiar. I would not be.
Friendship allows you to basically make them your friend. It has no duration, has no save. You just and make someone your friend. Fear does the opposite. Again, no save, infinite duration, infinite range, you keep affecting the person as long as you are alive and they are alive. Which makes, obviously, any confrontation a complete breeze when you're like, oh, this is the big baddie. We should probably find him. Oh, I just need to make this skill test. Oh, look, I made the skill test. Yeah. Cool.
Your
The big
group may be-
baddie's now my best friend.
Your group may be different than what I deal with, but it sounds like at the start, before the campaign, I'll just be like, hey guys, if you want to play a Jedi, these 2 skills, can't use them. Oh, whine, then don't play a Jedi. Sorry. I want my campaign to be cool.
No, he didn't whine about it. He actually was the one who was like, no, I'm completely okay with just eliminating those skills. He's like, they're broken as shit. I was like, the one time I was like, wait, you're okay with like limiting yourself? And he's like, yeah, it's total bullshit. Like from a gamer from a game player standpoint, it's
restored.
broken. Like, and not in a fun way. You just automatically trivialize every encounter you get.
Yeah. Polnald, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Appreciate you popping in today. You're catching Clan Wolf and I talking about some Star Wars RPG.
And then I did my normal thing because if you look at the old WotC one, it really wants to emphasize skills, like their use as a major thing, because you pretty much taper off on damage right away. It's not like D&D where you build damage over time and you get more powerful. Really, you just can survive more, sort of. But they really want you to be focused on having lots of skills and being diversified and all that. But they use the old 3.5, like the soldier class gets 2+ int for skills, and it just falls really flat on the amount of skills they give out. Yeah. So we made Lando pointing out WotC D20 revised and Saga editions use skills heavily, but they really don't give out many skills for you to use. So I made the clarification, same home rule of, all right, everyone gets +2 to their class for skills. So like soldier gets 4 plus intelligence modifier, and so on and so forth. And it makes it a lot more easier to play. And then since I was like, well, we're all playing Mandalorians, so as a Mandalorian, everyone starts off with weapon proficiency, blaster pistols, blaster rifles, and light armor and powered armor, skipping the normal medium and heavy that you need, because Mandalorian armor is technically a powered armor because of the circuitry in it. Yeah. Then I was like, all right, you get a free ship. It's going to be something low end, so they got a decent ship. And then I was like, and your armor comes free, because that's literally part of your heritage. It's not Beskar, it's just normal, so it's like Durasteel or whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like the way they did it in the show, where he kind of progressed his armor, was cool.
Got a little silly, in my opinion, though, too, in the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mostly because he's like, I have Beskar armor. Time to tank all the shots instead of dodging like I did earlier.
Yeah, that's fair. At least he tanked. There were some characters, without spoiling, that chose to let the meat shields get shot and not tank for them.
Yeah. But it's also silly because it's like, yeah, you can tank only because all of a sudden all the stormtroopers can hit you, but only in the parts that are armored.
Yeah, I talked about that too. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you realize, man, if you had, if one of those guys had been lucky and shot you in like the side of the knee,
yep.
or like in the armpit or anything, it's like, dude, maybe standing still and tanking all the hits is not the greatest of ideas.
I never had Beskar. Of course, then that was before the Mando show, but I did play a bounty hunter.
Squad morale restored.
Hey, Alessio27, thank you for the follow. Welcome.
We're talking all sorts of stuff today. Come
As
hang out.
we do. I ramble a bit.
Nerd out.
You ramble a bit.
Come and nerd out with us.
And then when we have Lando, who knows all the things and plays all the games, especially RPG, we had a kind of sweet spot for conversation here. Yeah, I played in multiple betas for Tor, and then played a little bit at launch. I preferred Star Wars Galaxies. My main character in Tor, my trooper made it to max level when I was playing, but I'm not sure what the max level is now. My first character, and was supposed to be my main character, was my Jedi, and he never made it to max at that time. I ended up quitting. I also didn't have as much fun playing him as I thought I would. I had a lot of fun playing the trooper. But
I found my niche in the Old Republic. Playing as a healer, so much fun.
yeah, that's what my trooper was. Trooper healer.
They're so underrated in almost everything. But the people who like play a lot of MMOs or any kind of game that has healers and are good at the game realize how key a good healer is.
Yep.
And everyone else just kind of like bitches at you. It's your fault. You did this wrong. It's like, nah, man.
That's typically the way it goes. If you're a tank or you're a healer and the group fails, the DPS blames you, and it's like, well, I don't see you tanking or healing and doing the main jobs. You just get to pew pew.
You're the one that went in there and somehow decided to gather all the aggro, which is the tank's job, dipshit.
Yep.
Like, well, you should have just healed me more often. I'm like, I'm busy trying to keep the guy with the biggest health pool from dropping below 25%. Which, by the way, at 25%, he still has more health than you.
Yeah, and Lando, I played for a little bit. When they went free to play, they kind of lost me. The game had promise. I enjoyed the story campaign mode and whatnot, but for me, it just felt too much like WoW. Even when I went back to WoW at one point afterwards and was checking out how that was working, the skill trees and the way things had progressed in WoW, they were identical to Tor, and I was just like, eh. I didn't care for it. I liked for me, the development in Galaxies better. Like I said, I think the story mode for the campaign story stuff for Tor was perfect. It was just like the end game and the gameplay that just didn't do it for me. It was too, even down to character creation compared to Galaxies. Like, I really wanted to make my character my own, and you really didn't have the same degree of customization. Like, the game had that kind of cartoon vibe, which, I mean, it's fine if that's what people are into. For me, it just wasn't. I wanted something a bit more different, I guess. For people who like it, I don't fault them for it. It's Star Wars. I enjoyed some aspects of the game. It just didn't grip me like the sandbox from Galaxies did. But unfortunately, I had a falling out with my gaming group at the time, which I came with from Galaxies, and one of them got really mad at me because I was not playing my tank and I was playing my trooper, and he's like, we were supposed to level together and you're playing a different character every time you're on. And I was like, yo, I don't get a lot of time to game. When I'm not online, you're playing other characters, so you've tried every class and they're all high levels. I have 2 characters, my Jedi and this, and I was just kind of bored with the Jedi. I want to try this. Like, every time I get on, I don't want to just be locked into the Jedi because you want to level with me, which is fine. I want to play with you, but like, it's now feeling like a job and not having fun. And he got mad at me, and then I told him to fuck off and quit. I was already at the end of my tether with the game, and then not, basically forcing me into a class or job that I wasn't having fun with at the time. Like, I've always played tanks in every game, but I was just trying something different, enjoying the story for Havoc Squad, and he gave me shit, and I was like, all right.
Yeah. I do like the fact that they've gone back now, and they've made it insanely easy for people to solo the game if you're just playing for the story. So it's really fun and entertaining when all of your followers can be set to do different things. Like they can all be set to DPS, tank, or healer, so you can play whatever you want to play and actually have the proper backup for yourself.
See, I didn't have too many issues playing solo, but I also did so many side quests early on that I was over-leveled in most areas all the damn time.
Oh yeah. They also did that too. The experience they hand out now is so ridiculously high that you're usually over-leveled.
Yeah.
And then if you decide to buy a subscription, so you have like constant double XP, you're just like, cool, I got to the second planet, I'm 20 levels above it.
Yep.
Awesome, actually. Because then you can roam around and experience the, because if you're playing just for the story, you don't really want to sit there and be like, okay, time to have a real big challenge.
I mean, I don't mind some challenges, because it's like playing KOTOR, solo. That's kind of the way I view it. But you can skip a lot of the side quests that you would normally do to try and level up.
Yeah.
And just focus on the main story missions, which, if that's what you're into, is fine.
Well, especially once, you've beaten, Hey, Hanley. Yeah, we're talking about KOTOR. Yeah, once you beat, like, one character on, like, the Republic side and one character on the Empire side, going back and doing the side quests on another character on either side of it, it's just like, cool, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And even then, some of the planets on our, some of the planetary side missions, are the same no matter which side you're on. It's like, cool. That's kind of dumb. Could you at least have us go, like, oh, you need to go destroy this droid factory? Could we at least, come at it in different directions?
Thank you for the sub. Yeah, that's 28 subs for the month, and you're pushing 2 years. Thank you. I heard through the grapevine there is a Lance called Amp Lance, or Amp Services Lance, or Justin Lance, or whatever. And then there's a Thunderhead Lance. Something like this I've heard.
What? What you talking
Well, you see,
about?
Clan Wolf, you having a new computer and playing games like that, you might be able to persuade me to pop on now and then and play games like that with you. Just saying.
Oh shit, I do all sorts of stuff. My friends and I still have the plan of doing. We're gonna go through either the Republic or the Empire side individually, just completely by ourselves. Pick the class we want to go through it, get it all done so we know the story. Delete the characters, restart, and play the entire game together while we're either drunk or getting drunk.
I don't know if I would have the time to do that.
So we could literally just like shit talk, and we were gonna record it and everything, and just repost it as like the drunks of the old Republic.
Nice. To be fair, Hanley, it's really, really hard to link up with people. I've been trying to play League and D3 with Teal for like 6 months, and then lining up schedules is really hard. My time slot for streaming and work is bad. Like, if you guys want to be up at 2:30 in the morning and play a couple matches or something with me, I'll stay up. But I don't think you might be, Hanley, because you're on the West Coast. Teal's usually streaming. No one's up. Clan Wolf's in bed. Hell, last night when I got up, Clan Wolf was getting ready to go to work.
Yeah, it was.
When I got up and saw Nomadic Chris on stream today, he had a giant cup of coffee at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just going to bed. So it's really hard. It's not that I don't want to play with you guys. It's just really difficult. Like I've talked about this time, blue in the face on the stream. I don't want to be having to work the way that I do. I want to do streaming and hang out, and I don't mind working and making money, but like doing both is really difficult, and my social life is lacking. So, hang on one second. So he said doing an Amp Lance and Thunderhead Lance, but his colors are basically the same as the faction he does for his personal stuff. Should I do colors or the colors of the faction you do for your personal stuff? Teal, you there's a few ways you can approach it. So let me break this down real quick. It's doodle time. And hold your thought, Clan Wolf. We'll get to you. So, when we're doing a mech, so we're going to, here's... this is my version of an Atlas head. Alright, there's my Atlas head, and, he got a square booty. So there's our mech, right? So the way that my mechs are painted for my mercs, you would come down, give or take, this side of the model, and then you would have a solid color here. So like this would be like a color, and then next to it, I'm gonna mess this all up, but it, for the sake of the doodle, next to it would be the next color, which would be, oh my god, a stripe.
You saying that's not a work masterpiece there, Hanley?
And then this is black, or kind of blue-gray, blue-black, something like that. The color that I use on the right arm, or right leg, or right third of the model, quarter of the model, give or take, it can vary, is a solid color, and every member of the lance shares that color. When I play the game, I may mix and match models, but at its onset, I try and paint batches and lances, and each lance kind of started together, and then they'll mingle around as the mercenary unit deems necessary. So in this case, these guys are blue and black, and the finished ones in the case right now. So you got blue, in this case. I've also got red ones, and I've got purple ones. Each lance is different. Then there is a gold stripe. Could be gold, could be silver, could be a variation of a metallic. At some point I'm going to run out of colors, so the stripe, the color plus stripe combo will be what makes them unique. Currently I'm using gold. So color of your choice for the lance, metallic of your choice that pairs well of the lance, and then black. But beyond that, you get the choice of those two, as long as those pair well and they look cool to you. And then you could throw some decals on if you want to add a little flair. I've done some checker pattern on some guys. You could do that. But as long as the core, black armor, metallic stripe, color of choice, and the whole lance is that way, you could paint a mercenary unit or a lance that would fit into my unit and match, if that's what you wanted to do. If you are just looking to paint stuff to have me piloting a thing or commanding a lance or honoring whatever, you can also just pick whatever colors you want. I mean, my mercs personally don't have a set scheme. It's just that style, and then you pick the colors, kind of fill it in, other than the black there. But otherwise, do whatever you want. I don't have allegiance to a particular faction per se. Even in the in-canon universe character, he's still running around as a merc, and there's a reason I chose these colors. The amp special. Yeah. His colors, the way that they function with the black and then the metallic and the color. And in canon universe, the Republic Knights, I think it's the left arm is colored, and then they have metallic, and then they're fully black. And I think it's just the arm. I don't know if they do the leg. I did the full side of the model, which there's a connection there for why he does what he does. But yeah, there's two sides of it. You can use this as like a template, fill in the colors you like, or you can do whatever you like. Yep. My guy is a Republic Knight. Yep. It's Dark Age era stuff. Hang on. Let me grab a picture here.
By the way, for a quick little fun trivia fact, most mechs that come with ferrofibrous armor, when they come off the assembly line, are black, because ferrofibrous metal is black. There
you go.
That's why it works great for covert ops, too. I assume it's because they decided, well, let's just do it that way. Makes it easy.
Yeah. I don't feel like digging too hard just to find pictures. Yeah, whatever that is pretty cool looking. Let's see here. But I just want the picture. Copy image address. This is just an old clicky tech. But it's very shitty and blurry, but black armor. This guy's got purple, and he's got a little metallic. It's not even a stripe, it's just a little metallic.
Oh, that neck does look like shit, though, too.
I mean, this is also like a 17-year-old model.
Dragon, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Like, I can't give you the ins and outs of every clan, but I can give you a lot of fun stuff.
So here's Janella Lakewood, black with silvers. She's got that purple on the one arm, little metallic. This is old clicky tech, but it's the same kind of scheme. All of the Republic Knights in Battletech, or in the Dark Age era specifically, they have that style. Left side, they have generally black armor to some degree, and then some kind of gold or silver metallic-y thing, followed by a color. And Dragon is throwing up camo spec. Oh, it is actual camo specs. I was thinking this was Sarna. So let's see. Oh, so there's actually even more variants here than I thought. Oh, that's related. Unit description scheme. Yeah, so black and silver. So you'll see, it's even got a page number. So you'll see, I thought there would be a picture here, but, yeah, that one's got a little bit purple. Regardless, you'll see that kind of thing, on the models, and, there is a, oh god, it's a Loki, I can't remember her name. Yeah, there's Mason Dunn right there. I already tell you that one. Man. I was hoping it would bring her up. There she is, right there, Esperanza. Yeah, so same style of thing. She's a knight, different colors. Black armor, colored thing, got a little bit of gold. You know, so that's kind of their thing. And that's what my guy's affiliation is, except his rank's a Ghost Knight, so he does different shit. But like he's part of that kind of order of dudes. So my paint scheme was taking inspiration from that. So
I forgot to ask you, do you have Jihad era STLs by chance?
They're not broken up by era, they're broken up by name.
Okay, so if you can check, do you have an Archangel?
I can look. Teal. My colors change. Every lance is different. I don't have a set color scheme. That's what I'm saying. So I have two painted lances, fully painted lances for my mercs. One is black, gold, and red. The other one is black, gold, and purple. And the black, gold, and purple was the first lance for my mercs that I ever painted. The black, gold, and red was by Joe. This lance is black, gold, and blue. If you wanted to paint one that represented me and I think would be okay, I think black, gold, and green, or black, gold, and teal would be a really nice splash and a really nice change. If you wanted to do something like that, that would be pretty cool, in my opinion. So
gold and green is the best choice.
I like green and gold too. But honestly, dude, I would pick what you think looks the best, man. Like what colors you want to play with. I think orange with black looks really nice. Yellow with black looks really nice. I mean, I've already done purple, but a different shade of purple. Like, whatever color combo you think is going to look good. And knowing that you have black, metallic stripe of choice, then solid color, you can pick the stripe and the color to pair well, knowing that metallic's going to be next to the black and then next to the color. So, pick what you think would look cool, man. Don't feel like you got to fit into any confines that I set, because I'll be happy either way. I mean, I got the model that Clan Wolf painted me doesn't fit my merc scheme at all, but because they're mercs, I can fit in whatever I want. So, yeah. So let's see. He's talking about Jade. This one. Make me look like a bee. Like, that's a really nice color.
Yeah, green and gold is a great color combination. It's the best color combination.
Coming from the guy who lives in Wisconsin.
I was wondering if you're gonna pick up on that one and be like,
I did. Let's see here. What's the name of this mech you're asking about?
Archangel. If you don't have it, that's fine.
Well, hang on. I'm curious. I don't have it in my normal repository.
This
Let's
is a mech
see.
I fell in love with that I probably won't. Oh yeah, dude, Hanley. Like, that game was... Going into that game, I was kind of tense. Because everyone's like, yeah, Titans are going to be a matchup against the Packers that are going to be really, really tough. This is going to be the hard one. Because, what was it? They have a really good... Titans have a really good running game and have a pretty solid defense. And we apparently have struggled with them that season. And Packers just came out and, like, smashed them. To answer your question, Dragon, yeah, the Word of Blake Omni.
You guys with your nerddom.
Alright, so let me explain that to you, since that has come up and we are doing Battletech. Omni Mech is a
I know what
term...
Omni generally refers to. If you want to tell them, you can. But I do know.
Alright.
I'm not that dumb.
I mean, I don't know if you knew.
No, yeah, means... referring to being able to swap out parts and arms and shit. Like,
yeah, real quick.
Omnipods,
yeah. The downside to that is actually, I believe the downside is they're a little bit structurally less sound. Because everything's not bolted straight to it. It's not a hard facet. So critical damage in those locations tend to have it.
Yeah, I think that's they represent that in the tabletop based on not being able to swap your engine out in an Omni, whereas the Inner Sphere can get the non-XL so they don't get crit dead. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it sounds like it's right. Kind of how it works on the table.
It doesn't really show up in tabletop. It's just a thing that happens in fluff. It's just something that kind of mechanically makes sense. But yeah, you can technically get a non-XL engine in a clan mech. Everyone will stare at you and be like, are you retarded? Because clan XL engines are, again, better because they take up one nice crit spot.
Okay.
Which is great, because if that side of your mech gets sheared off, your engine isn't considered critical out. Whereas, you know, an Inner Sphere with an Inner Sphere XL engine that gets its entire torso sheared off, that's 3 engine crits. You're dead. Now a lot of people hold to that being the better case. Then is like, well, then you should go with the Inner Sphere non-XL engine because you're tankier because you only have the XL engine crits in the center torso. Then it's like, yes, true, but you still as fuck. And doesn't matter what you say, you can be tanky as hell. Not taking the hits to begin with, better tank.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately not seeing one. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means that what I have access to, isn't showing one.
Fair, it's a Word of Blake mech.
Yeah, if you can get a hold of a file from your contacts at Thunderhead's Discord, you just let me know and I can work it up and print it out for you.
I don't know. It looks like Dragon was actually just straight up looking for anyone with an STL file for it. So,
yeah, that's fair. Oh, so I thought you wanted it. Were you asking for him and I missed the message?
No. I was asking. Dragon just went looking right away.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's a very beautiful mech. It has a very sleek hunter kind of stylization to it. It's really a wacky mech too, as far as like capabilities, because it went with that weird Word of Blake wrist blade thing that they were doing. And then it's operated with like a snub nose PPC, which is all sorts of weird too.
I use that in MWO on my Uzil.
Yeah, they're I think the snub nose PPC and the standard PPC are the only ones that can get the PPC charge capacitor on it. Which makes a standard PPC 15 damage, makes a snub nose at 20.
So it's a freaking AC-20.
It's an AC-20 with slightly longer range.
And no ammo explosions.
Yeah, and it's because the pilots of those mechs were cyborgs. Yeah, Word of Blake does all sorts of lovely war crimes.
They do mention that in the book I'm reading too. Not the war crimes, but Word of Blake.
Yeah, Word of Blake is... They're radical extremists. Hence the word. Their era is called the Jihad era, where they launch a jihad. And I think they're the first ones in several hundred years who decide to actually use operational nukes.
Teal, I just saw your message about having it reflect me. If I got to choose a color scheme for those mechs to represent me, I think I would go with a jade, a green, or a teal with the gold. Not only would that reflect colors that I like and think would look good with the black and would be very unique, I think it also plays on the your name, Teal Security, Teal, on that, and then I kind of inspired you, I guess alongside Thunderhead as well, to do some Battletech stuff, and I think having perhaps your lance you're painting to pay tribute to myself is not me, it's you as a lance commander for what you might be if you were present in my merc company. So you're painting a lance that would fit in with my mercs, but has colors that reflect you or reflect your name, that I think would fit in well with me, and it meshes. Does that make sense? It's like a puzzle piece that you're creating that fits into my puzzle, right? I think that's cool. Clearly, you can do what you think would be best, but I think that would be really unique and custom, and you would be adding your own little flair to my little mercenary unit. Which the thing that would be even more dope is if people started taking off with that, and they're like, hey, here's photos of things I'm painting. On my tabletop, I've painted this lance. And when you're not playing, Justin, the MFA is out there. We're still taking contracts, and doing stuff, and that would be super dope to see. For my Merc company, the MFA stands for Mortem Ferrum Angelus, which is really not good Latin translation of Death's Iron Angels, is what I was going for. MFA, or as Clamwolf would say, the motherfucking angels, as he calls them. Or did at that point when I brought it up on stream a long time ago.
I know, I still do.
If you do it in English, it would be DIA, Death's Iron Angels. And I thought that a fun way to, a euphemism to refer to them in passing, so people would know, if you're asking about when the MFA is going to show up, just talk about a perfect day. When is that going to happen? When is it going to arrive? Something like that. Referring to day, because in Spanish, I believe DIA, dia is day. And then some people would know, but if you're just talking about a good day of the week or a good day or what day are they going to arrive, something like that, like you're specifically referring to DIA or MFA, which is really cool. So, in a scale of 1 to Word of Blake, how bad were Smoke Jaguar?
Less than Word of Blake.
Well, he said less. I mean, That's fair.
Look, it's a really high bar that Word of Blake. Like, all right, let's put it this way: Smoke Jaguar comes in. I've told you a lot of stuff. They set a pretty high bar for atrocities. Word of Blake kind of just goes, "Lol, hold my beer," and then pole vaults over it. Like,
Well then.
Smoke Jaguar would like intentionally sabotage fusion reactors and make big boom. We know now that fusion reactors don't make really big booms. They make really small booms, actually. Very intense, but very small booms. But yeah, they do stuff like that. Release dams to drown out entire populations because there happens to be a unit down there. Smoke Jaguars were a-holes, but the Word of Blake are murdering a-holes. They didn't use nukes, mostly because they really understood if I detonate a nuke, it makes this planet very unusable for a good portion of time, might just remove its ability to be useful. And
yeah, no one wins.
And well, it's more the fact that to understand clan mentality, a fresh apple, anyone having that is something a clan mech pilot will shoot you for, because that's how unusable the planets they're on. So literally coming to a planet and going, "Oh, it's so beautiful, look at all these peach trees, look at all these apple trees," and then going, "Well, there's a big group of enemies that are hiding out in that apple orchard, we should use a nuke." It's just not even in clan mentality. Sure, drown it. Okay, yeah, because we can undrown an area. We can unflood it and replant. Nuking it kind of leaves it for
Yeah, the radiation's a bit harder
70
to,
plus
than-
years, if not more, becomes pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Word of Blake did not care. This was pure and total genocide. They did not care. Anyone who wasn't on their side needed to be absolutely killed. They're kind of a blend of Muslim extremists or Islamic extremists, the Russian Red Army, and the German SS. They did all those things that you've heard about. They also did penal legions. They would go to prisons, the planets they've just beaten, find the absolute worst people they could, rapists, murderers, serial killers, anyone on death row, be like, "Cool, you're pardoned. Your only option to be pardoned here, other than just us executing you, is here. You get to pilot this mech. What's the catch? You go kill everyone else that's not on our side, and just let them loose. Or take POWs and force them into mechs and force them to go pilot against things that they would not otherwise fight, just because they've been cyborged out, or fill said person's cockpit full of high yield explosives, so even if they got down, they could just detonate it and become a bomb to kill other people.
So they made them suicide bombers.
Yeah, they like I said, they literally take all the war crimes you can commit and just put it into one faction.
Yeah, and there's people in the Battletech community that like Word of Blake?
Yeah, I think, again, they more like them for the fact that they are just a perfect villain.
Oh, that's fair.
Makes them in Battletech's sense, it kind of does make them fun to play as, because you get to strip all the rules of normal engagement.
That's kind of why I played Iron Warriors. I got to play the bad guys, and I didn't have to worry about being the good guy. And if I lost, I'm the bad guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they like do more of the pre-jihad Blake more than the jihad era Blake, where they go
That's
all
fair.
out. There's a bunch of rules that are almost funny because of the fact that you guys actually made terrain set. That actually breaks the rules. There is an actual written, not Geneva Convention, but the new Geneva Convention rules for battle mechs is you cannot fight inside of cities. You are not supposed to do that at all.
Well,
Just because obviously, oh, I shot my PPC, it missed. Where's
yeah,
it
the
going?
collateral damage. Yeah.
Like, we do not fight in or near factories either. Not just because it could blow up the entire factory and create a massive explosion, but again, we don't have the knowledge to really remake those factories anymore. Some of them are just producing Griffins because it's the only place that, the Griffin 1A2 can be produced in the entire inner sphere. Kind of situation. They're like, oh yeah, we should not be doing that. We do not shoot at anything that has a jump drive because they're insanely expensive and we really don't know how to remake them. Again, we have automated factories that can produce them.
And I'm assuming Word of Blake shot at everything?
Oh yeah, Word of Blake shot at everything. They downed civilian transports that have jump drives. That was another thing. Even if they didn't have jump drives, it was just a poor sportsmanship thing, dude. Why are you shooting at civilians? Because it weakens my enemy? Why are you shooting at civilians? Yeah, I'm pretty much a jackass, aren't I? It was, again, the mentality of like all-out combat is there, but it's also from the standpoint of like your mech pilots are World War I fighter pilots. There is a sort of decorum and honor guide you ran through.
Yeah, I mean, I try not to talk about German stuff too much, but if I recall, I watched a documentary that was talking about the Luftwaffe, and they had some kind of statement that was made, because there was some kind of, using the term honor, and this is loose, but a certain degree of honor where it was dishonorable if you had bested them and they had bailed out, it was dishonorable to shoot them while they were parachuting down. And in one of the documentaries I was talking about, that was an order that their pilots were given, was to not shoot people in parachutes, like jumping out of bailing out of planes, like that you've bested them, it's over. And I thought that was really odd but interesting. I never heard that before.
Yeah, it was very much a mentality because a lot of the starter pilots in World War I are literally aristocrats and nobles, people who could afford to have learned to fly to begin with. So they very much saw that as, oh, this is an extension of the old feuds, where you get on horseback and you ride, the joust. It's a one-on-one thing. This is a nightly thing. It's very, that's why, again, Red Baron, great guy, all his stuff. His entire group was called the Flying Circus because they were in a riot of colors. There was no single color scheme to them. They had planes that were bright purple and bright yellow striped. Another guy was brown with extreme red triangles and stuff like that because he wanted his guys to go up and then the enemy to see him and be like, oh shit, it's that guy. Oh shit, it's that guy.
Yeah, it's like a mercenary in Battletech. It's a specific paint scheme and people recognize him for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and those are the main guys that fly during World War I, which is almost funny that a lot of the pilots in World War II get trained that way, and you actually end up with a specific incident because of that in World War II, where a German pilot sees a B-17 limping its way home, and he gets a rearm quick refuel, and he flies up, and he's gonna go take it down, and then he notices like half the cockpit is already missing, and he can see directly in there, and there's enough bullet holes he can see all these all the people, all the B-17 crewmen scurrying around terrified because this guy could end him. And he said, well, I didn't pull the trigger because they already looked like they were in parachutes. And my instructor said, if you ever shoot anyone in a parachute, I will personally fly up and execute you. And it stuck to him, so he flew close to port, so German AA guns couldn't shoot at him.
Interesting. David Jones, thank you for the like over on the Facebook, man. Appreciate that.
And he flew him all the way to the sea, and then peeled off. Gave him a quick salute and then peeled off. Yeah, it was known as the Charlie Brown incident.
Why did they call it Charlie Brown?
Because that was the name of the B-17 pilot.
Oh, did
Was Charlie Brown.
there you go.
Which is great too, because sometime after the war, the Luftwaffe pilot and Charlie actually met up, and they became fast friends, and then they became roommates until they died. They lived in the same house together.
Pretty astounding story.
Yep. But yeah, that's that's kind of the thing that you're also looking at in Battletech. People doing just honorable things, and then you've got entire groups that decide not to be very honorable.
So, Board of Blake, Jihad, yada yada. Clans, Intersphere, unite, fight them. Like I'm assuming it's after the clan invasion, but how does that all play out?
Clans really don't get involved. Sort of, kind of. They've got their own shit they're dealing with, like their own problems in the Kerensky cluster and the Pentagon worlds. So yeah, they kind of only get involved. The only ones that really get involved are basically completely masked in the Inner Sphere territories. So like, yeah, so like Ghost Bear gets kind of involved because they basically go, cool, we have this entire chunk of House Karita we've got, and these are good planets. Ciao guys, we're out of here. And they just kind of leave the shithole that is the Exodus planets. And they don't really care. Diamond Shark, I think, basically... Diamond Shark stays because, again, they're just mostly merchants, but they do have a lot of people in the Inner Sphere because there's a lot of planets to get to trade with. There's another clan that does just basically uproot and just go, fuck it, we're out of here, and goes and settles in the Inner Sphere as well. Wolf in Exile is on.
And that's Fail and Kill,
Royal.
right?
Yeah. They're on Ark Royal, which is the Kellhounds area.
There's so much lore for this. Like, I mean, I feel like over time, it will start to resonate more. I feel like in my brain, I'm like, oh, I took the 40k lore really easy, but it's like, I've been into 40k for such a long time that, like, I forget sometimes how long I've been exposed to it, and it's a no-brainer that I'm familiar with this stuff the way that I am. But I feel like over time, Battletech will start to sink in a little bit more.
Yeah, and they've got...
I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
They've got as many years in it.
Well, I meant more like for me. And I mean, Battletech's ancient, but I've not been in it as long as I've been in 40k, or at least not following the fluff the same way.
Hey, Steiner, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? You're not wrong, Hanley. It has. It's less about the availability of the lore and more about me being familiar with it. You also might have been talking about how much of it there was and how hard it could be for someone who's not as old as the game to keep up, and that is fair too. But for me, it's more about I was more talking about like just familiarizing myself with the universe and how I take it for granted with 40k because I already know all that stuff now. It's second knowledge or second hand. Or second nature, rather. And there's stuff with 40k that still sometimes I'm like, oh, hey, I didn't know that. You'll learn a thing about the Horse Heresy or a Primarch. But the basics I've got. And with Battletech, I've got some. Like, I understand the clan invasion and whatnot. But, like, we're talking about Ward of Blake. I'm like, I have no idea what the hell we're talking about. I mean, I know some, but, like, not enough to make a statement. But when we're talking about, like, clan invasion stuff, there's things that I do know that I didn't know before, but that have kind of resonated.
Well, the technical readouts, I think they were.
Are you talking to me about technicals, or are you talking to Hanley?
Hanley. I think he's talking about the technical readouts, which are landscape style books.
Oh, okay, got it. I thought you were talking about actual landscapes. They still make them. they released the Succession Wars, the Clan Invasion, and Jihad stuff, the more updated TROs. Except, I think it's the Succession Wars one, because it was finished right before the Harmony Gold stuff was finally wrapped up. It didn't include the Lost Tech stuff, air quotes, or unseen stuff, rather. Which now they're making mechs for again. But because the book was finished before they had wrapped that up, they were omitted this time. So, but yeah, they still make them, and they're making new ones. There's some ones that I want to get that are new, air quotes, but out of print. I want to get the 3145, 3150, whatever it is, the Dark Age era stuff, and I want to get Shattered Fortress. Shattered Fortress, and then there's a field manual for that era. Like, Dark Age stuff's what I'm focused on. If I want to get Succession War and Clan Invasion, those books are easy to get.
Are they still printing the TROs, though, in landscape format, though?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Austin's Succession War one is shaped like this. I mean, it's landscape, it's not portrait. So it's wider than it is tall. Yep.
Okay, yeah. That's good that they kept that style too, because it was something that automatically set it apart. You could just look through a person's like book rack and be like, "Oh, hey, there's a landscape style book. That's got to be Battletech."
Yep. Or the reprints not, because I mean, maybe the second print of the Succession War is portrait then, but Austin's got a Succession War TRO in its landscape.
I would think it would be really dumb to print them in portrait when that's literally, like I said, that's Battletech in a nutshell. Go over to someone's house and be like, "Oh, hey, look at that book. I know that book."
Oh, it's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Daph.
What up, man?
But yeah, like, basically, Word of Blake just is a lot of the Comm Garden and ROM agents, as they're called, band together and will go psychotic. But at least I can say one of my favorite Comstar people does not join them.
Who's that?
Anastasius Vogt. Who was the Precentor General. See, there's a Wabi right there. There's your bad guy. Yeah, they hide out with Merrick.
So, how does Abaddon, the Despoiler, compare to Word of Blake?
I mean,
because he's bad. Like, Chaos is bad. Or the baddies.
We are talking about like 40k. Like,
so 40k is worse.
Yes.
Okay.
there is an actual reason why you can just stand there and be like, look, you know those kind of stupid, those kind of stupid who would win kind of situations that you'll see on YouTube?
Yeah.
And they always do and whenever they do the sci-fi ones, everyone's just like, "Wow, why
would a
Warhammer
Jedi
40K
beat a Space Marine?" Yeah.
Why is Warhammer 40k always win everything? It's like, because you've got to realize the extreme difference in scope and scale that 40k is.
All right, how would a battle mech fare against a dreadnought?
Oh, a battle mech would tear through a dreadnought.
Boom.
Like, on a 1-to-1 scale, yeah, okay. A heavy would probably tear. I would definitely hedge my bets at like 60-40.
Yeah.
But once you start getting medium and light, could
They can fight Sentinels.
You know, oh no, a light mech would probably tear through a Sentinel in seconds.
You know all those YouTube channels, Justin, where they do what ifs? Clan Wolf, who would win? A Dreadnought or a Battle? Ah, Battletech would win. What if?
It is more like a heavy battle armor, but I would definitely rate a Dreadnought as more of like the odd super heavy battle armor, because it is ridiculous amounts of armor.
Yeah, because like a crisis suit is like
ridiculous amounts of armor.
Crisis suit is like an armored suit, but a Dreadnought is much bigger.
Yeah.
Or at least the new Dreadnoughts, anyway. So, but that said, folks, I am going to grab a treat for the dog, because I owe her one. I'm going to empty the bladder, and we're going to grab a refill on some coffee. So I'm going to leave you for just a moment. Enjoy chatting amongst each other. If you have some cool Battletech things you want to inform me about when I get back, with stuff that I might not know that I should know, that'd be awesome. But I'm going to step away, and I'll catch you guys in just a few minutes. gotta wait. We are back, and I brought with me a friend. I have brought. No, you can't just take them. You gotta wait. You gotta wait. No. All right. So who gave you this one? Who gave it to you? Okay, this is from Dragon. Dragon, you say Dragon. Thank you. You can't see you. They can't see you. Take it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Oh. No. Thank you, guys. So you tell them you're allowed to get 3 treats during the stream. Oh, there's one more. Dragon gave you a second one. He gave you a second one. Yes, he did. He did. Oh, and Clan Wolf gave you a third one. Are you ready? You ready to hop up? Say, oh, gimme. Nom. Oh, that's so good. I like my little milk bones. I like them. I like getting hair all over Justin's desk, too. I like getting it everywhere. My doggy hair flying everywhere.
I'm gonna say, what you gonna do when you move out, sir?
Hang on.
Does he hear me?
You ready? Want your last one? This your last one. You tell him. Say, Clan Wolf, thank you. No, don't. So you didn't even let me play with it. You took it. So I took it. I took that ball. It's gone. And I'm going to eat it. And it was good.
Dog.
Nom. Oh, you got hair
We
all
can
over
hear
me,
each other.
dog.
He can't hear. He can't hear me.
Probably got hair in my coffee. Thank you. That was it. I love you. I love you. You tell him thank you. You tell him thank you. Bye. She knows. She's not stupid. That dog's smart. She's smarter than most people I know. She's smart. Also, she's
Pretty
smart
low
enough not to
bar.
run over her headphone cables with the chair. Which I do every day. And we're back, Clan Wolf. I can hear you now. I have my headset on. Yep.
I've
And
just been making fun of you the entire time.
we got my coffee. So I was thinking, I was talking to Teal earlier about painting a lance.
Yes,
No,
sir.
I got paint on my cup. All right, so painting a lance.
Yep.
What if we did a competition? Just thinking out loud. Competition. People paint up a lance of their choosing. They don't have to send it to me. If they want to keep them, they keep them. And we put certain tags on Instagram, and some of these people win some of my prototype buildings. I'll send them to them, and they could get some unique stuff that will change before release, but they get some pieces of things that I've designed for, like my mercenary compound is what I've envisioned, and they get some. I think that would be pretty cool, and also maybe get people motivated to paint some of their, if they've got them already, Battletechs that are sitting around, and kind of let us see what people come up with.
I'm pretty cool with that.
I think
That
it
seems
could be
pretty hype.
cool. Could be cool. I got a whole box of prototypes behind me too, so I think that would be cool. Plus, I got a sack of dice. I could throw a handful, I won't say handful, a couple of dice with each one that goes out. That would be cool.
I could use more of that.
Yo, I sent you some dice.
I'm a 40K player.
Oh my god, I've been trying so hard to pull you back into BattleTech, and you're like a tick. And you dug in on the 40K. You dug in. You laughing at me or you laughing at the dog?
I'm laughing at the dog. Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Just clown nose. Just squeaky, 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 squeaky. I'm Clan Wolf, and my name's Clan Wolf, and I should change it to a 40K name, but Clan Wolf, and I like it a 40K. God damn it. I try
I
so
like 40K.
hard.
Leave me alone.
I try so hard.
I am back into Battletech, but I only need 2d6 for that. For the classic.
You, sir, used to roll in hot to my stream every week. Oh, Daddy, I got this thing happening today from my campaign. And then you'd have to leave before the end of my streams to go do your Battletech campaigns every week. You get in the chat and you talk about it. Yep.
Well, I wouldn't leave early.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't it Sundays that you had your Battletech thing?
Yeah, but Sundays I just go straight from Kill Team to Battletech for the most part.
I
And
thought you saying
your streams back then on Sundays were also later in the night.
It was.
And I'd either A, still be playing Battletech, or B, just got done with it.
All I heard is A, I'd still be playing Battletech, or B, I'm still not hanging out with the garrison. That's what he said, folks. You heard it.
That's
Kyle
right, I did.
He said we ain't shit. He likes 40k better than us. Javasuko, you'll paint some battle mix, you see?
Um,
Oh, I don't know if you was doing... Were you doing that? Were you doing VampCat stuff? Or what do they call it now? Not VampCat, but, shit. The term that overarches both.
I don't know.
Werewolf and Vamp. There's a term for it.
I don't know.
Joe
Werewolf the Apocalypse is an old pen and paper game that is based off of.
Yeah, but there's a term now for, like, that overarches both when you're describing that universe, and I forget what it is. Like, if you're talking about 40k, you might say Grimdark. With,
I have no idea.
Yeah, with VampCat, there's a term they use. Even if you're playing Vamp or you're playing Werewolves, there's a term.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I forget what it is. Joe hasn't been around enough, and Marcus isn't here.
No.
Vamp Furry! Edward and Jacob.
World of Darkness is the setting. But
That is it. That's the term. World of Darkness is the word I'm thinking of.
Made by White Wolf.
Yeah.
And it's
like
not a new term. That's what it's called, World of Darkness.
Well, yeah, but like they don't use VampCat anymore because they split them. So like when you use World of Darkness, you could be referring to Vampire the Masquerade, or Werewolf, and that's what people have used. I used to just say VampCat because they used to be the same. They were together, or at least at least the stuff they were playing locally used to be together, and then they split it. So now it's just Vampire the Masquerade.
So World of Darkness covers Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf. Well, for doing the old World of Darkness, the good one, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Hunter the Reckoning, Mage the Awakening, Demon the Fallen, Mummy the Arisen, and Descent. Demon the Descent? Is it Demon the Descent? I thought it was Demon the Fallen. That could be Descent. And then there's one other one that no one ever played, which was the ghost-based one, because it was the entire purpose of playing the ghost-based one was to kill yourself, basically.
Freedom!
Yeah. Because your whole point is the ghost one is to find your fetters, Fetters, the things that hold you bound to the physical world, end them. No Dragon, no Mighty God Machine. That's the newer demon. That's New World of Darkness demon, which is ugh.
I'm surprised Lando's not commenting since he's like a RPG connoisseur. I figured he'd be all about this conversation.
That's what I wanted to say when you were talking to Teals. So, sir.
Me?
Yes, me? You.
Okay.
Have you gotten your PlayStation subscription yet?
I have never had a PlayStation subscription.
Okay. Damn. Never mind then.
I'm assuming you were about to ask me about Diablo.
Yeah, I was actually. I was gonna be like, well, I have to kind of sort of wake up tomorrow to go in and help put away truck order, but then I have
early.
Huh?
That early?
No, not that early, but I can wake up that early to play a game if I get a bit of a rest.
When will you be home from your truck duties?
Oh, way later than you wake up, or you'll be going to bed. You'll be asleep by then.
I'll say, because like I do have Amanda duty tomorrow, but if it's before she gets here, she's usually not here until between 2 and 3.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could do that too. Yeah. I have off the rest of the day.
Oh,
is what I'm saying. I have off the next 3 days. Today, tomorrow, and Friday. And it's looking like I probably will have 3 days a week now off, probably.
Because,
school got done. Or school's over with for right now, so we have a whole bunch of managers that are off. And one of them is actually he actually graduated. He's gonna be joining Bob.
Elio?
as a police officer.
Yeah.
But not in that area, obviously.
He comes down here and starts writing tickets for North Carolina folk.
I'd laugh my head.
We got better weather.
If he moved down to North Carolina and was in your area, he like grabbed you for speeding or something, I tell him, I tell you to tell him, make sure you remind him he's got a big chunky butt.
I feel like that might not help my case.
He would stare at you and be like, how the fuck do you know that?
And then I'd be like, well, I could see it as soon as you got out of the car.
No, I'd be like, David from Wisconsin told me to tell you.
Yep. It would also be a miracle. It would be a feat getting my Jeep up to speed. Not that I don't occasionally break the speed limit, but it's not a particularly peppy vehicle.
Yeah. But, before when he was going to school, he only had 2 days a week. He only had weekend shifts. Now he's off and he needs more time. And I volunteered to give up one of my shifts. And then just increase the length of the other 4 shifts to 9-hour shifts.
Oh, that's
So
fair.
I'm getting 36 hours at least. So I'm like, I don't have that big of, I don't have a car. He pays rent to his mom, but he pays a phone bill that's apparently comparable to my rent payment. And then my phone payment is like $26 a month.
So what I heard is you're going to have more time to game and more time to paint.
That's a possibility, yeah.
Hobby time!
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get more hobby time in. Like right now, I'm painting.
What are you painting?
I'm painting my Royal Warden from the Necrons. Because I don't have. Well, I have the one mech, but I'm kind of terrified to paint it because I don't remember how I painted my.
Which mech?
I have this the Behemoth.
Oh, that you got the dude to print. It wasn't the
Yeah.
one. I printed 2, but they were both partial fails.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of nervous to paint it because I can't remember how I painted up my Timberwolf. I can look at it.
I got a mech here for you at some point when I decide to send it to you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this supposed to be a surprise?
No, it's on the screen right now. He's just sitting on a shelf.
Remember, it takes a little bit for the stream to catch up to what we're saying.
Now look what he's sitting next to.
I'm waiting.
Oh, it'll be up. It's adorable. Smashing the button. So yeah, he's sitting here. Did you like Hulk out and turn into a werewolf and eat them?
It depends. If it's old world darkness, that's possible.
We said he killed 2 people in his own party.
No. Well, in old world darkness wasn't really balanced amongst the different ones. They said you could play them in between, but so I don't know. I assume you haven't ever seen a World of Darkness.
I'm aware of how the combat and the stuff works. Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah,
type
but
thing.
no, not rock paper scissors. That's only when you're doing live action ones.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
I'm talking about the actual pen and paper RPG book. Has a different system than what you're probably used for. It's not a D20 system. It's a D10 system, and it's based on dots. How many dots you have in things is how many dice you get to throw at things. So since it doesn't have a number, it all seems kind of really arbitrary. So they have a scale on, okay, 1 dot in the strength is like a normal normal Joe Schmo human being, right? And then it raises from there. But the scales are all different between the different books, the different games of it. So like a werewolf, when it hits 5, if you put all 5 dots in strength, says at 5 dots of strength, you can basically hurl a 250-pound car. Or not 250 pound, but you can hurl a car, is what the scale is. Right? points in strength for like a vampire is much more like you can, push the car by yourself. I'm like, that's a massive difference there. We're talking about the difference of grabbing said car and throwing it as a projectile and just being able to use it as portable cover. So yeah, when in a case of a scenario like a werewolf versus 2 vampires, it can be very easy for said werewolf to just tear through a vampire. Especially with the fact that because you also have 3 different versions of damage. You have bashing damage, which is pretty self-evident, blunt force trauma type stuff. You have lethal damage, which is, getting slashed with a sword, stabbed with a sword, shot with a gun. Kind of lethal. And then aggravated damage, which is stuff that usually like attacks your soul or does such horrific style of damage. It's really bad. Like fire for most people is considered aggravated damage because it does such horrendous damage. Thing is, werewolves can soak lethal level damage, which is they can just be like, I'm so strong, my muscle's so strong.
I'm so strong.
Dash.
What up,
Sorry.
man? Oh, you're good.
But it's like, basically, oh look, my pectorals are so strong, and they just kind of shrug off that damage. Vampires can't do that. Most everyone else can't soak lethal unless they're using special abilities. And then werewolves can soak aggravated damage using certain abilities. So they can literally just be like, lol, that's cool, your damage does nothing. Muscle for the mixed group. Only fight to protect the group from supernatural threats. So I'm gonna guess probably an R rune, which is werewolves have. You have 3 forms. Well, you have 3. First, you pick your starting base race, sort of. Homid, you started out as a human and changed. Lupus, you started off as a wolf and changed. Metis, you're an inbred. You started off as a werewolf, in werewolf form. Your parent is dead, most likely. I'm doing good, Flash. How you doing, Justin?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm hanging out with Clan Wolf here, having a nice little chat about hobby stuff and RPG stuff, Battletech. We've kind of ranged the gamut. We went from sci-fi to now like World of Darkness fantasy era. I guess it's technically fantasy, or maybe even like modern fantasy. Yeah, werewolves and vampires and
be modern grimdark, actually.
That's fair. But not sci-fi. Opposite of what we normally
not
talk
sci-fi.
about.
Yeah. And then
I guess technically it could be science fiction. It's not technological science fiction as I think of it. Sci-fi, I guess, for me is like technology. I suppose this is science fiction. There could be some science to it.
Yeah.
It'd be on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, it would definitely be in the Sci-Fi Channel. Then again, the Sci-Fi Channel has all sorts of weird stuff, so.
It's true. We are talking about
then you have
werewolf, so.
Yeah. And then you have your then you have your phase. It's not really what it's called, but I can't think of the name for it. It's basically what phase of the moon you were born under, and that depicts usually your personality type. So our rune is the full moon. You're this proto-stereotypical rage monster. They're generally the hot-tempered, quick to jump in type, basically the brawler. You have the Ragabash, which is the no moon. They're the trickster spirit. They're trickster one. Then you have, oh god, I'm gonna butcher like everything. The Galliard, which is their job. They're basically the lore keepers. They tell stories. I'm gonna forget all the rest. I'll just go off of what they're. I won't go after their names. I'll go after what their abilities are. The next one up is like the shaman type. They're the ones that are very connected to the spirit world and everything. Generally sew up all your talismans, make your quote-unquote enchanted weapons and stuff like that. And then the last one is the lawbringer. Basically the guy who's supposed to be the mediator, the diplomat, and the person that basically goes, this is the law. This is the way.
This is the way.
Um,
Do you know the way?
That's their job. And then you have your tribes, which further cement your personality. Kind of pick out how you're going to play the characters. And there's a bunch of them. They're all based around different areas of the world that they used to be in. Like, get a Fenris. They're all the Germanic type. Very beat heavy, very Norse in their ideals. Strong guy. Big tough people. You have the Bone Gnars. They're the hobos, basically. They're, I don't even remember what they're good at. They basically are, they're you know, they're great at survival is really what they are, because they're basically they're changing in the quote unquote lupus form. They're more canine like, actual like.
Did you read Hanley's thing?
Yeah, I did, and
Yeah, I'm just like, I failed a willpower check, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I guess it's not your fault at that point, so I failed a roll. My character just got real mad and fucking punched your face hole open. Yep. Oh, man. Like, I've heard horror stories about, at least in the LARP version of this, where they don't mingle well. I had a buddy of mine who did, two buddies who did Vampire, and it was back when Vampire and Werewolf intermingled, and one of them, it's Joe, fallback from the stream, he ended up running up at the college once or twice a month, whatever. Like, he ran big sessions. But beforehand, I'm pretty sure he was in the group, but a buddy of mine locally brought some friends up there to play, and this was when they were still mingled, and these are new, like, at least the two guys that he brought with him were, like, new level 1 or whatever the equivalent is for them. They've never played, they're up there trying to learn the game, and a group of werewolves found the new players and literally just killed them. Like, they've drove the half hour up there to play, and they just roll up, do their thing, and kills them. Or at least, however that functions in their roleplay setting, they were allowed to do that. From what I've talked to with Joe, at least in the new Vampire that he was involved with, if you end up with a confrontation with a player where there could be a player death, usually because the story's important, you discuss how it's going to play out, and if you can't come to an agreement, then you do your rock, paper, scissors thing. If you come to agreement, you just agree on how you want it to transpire. In their thing, I guess they were just able to engage in combat however it worked out, but the two of the three guys that went up there were really upset because they're like, we've never played, we wanted to have a good time, and the werewolves just ganged up and killed them.
Yeah,
it's like, we just drove up here, now we have nothing to do, or we have to make a new character, and that's not that fun when I just showed up. So yeah, it's not very fun.
I had a similar situation. It was the only time I ever did the rock, paper, scissors, the show up and talk things out. And it was a group of people who had been doing the game for, like, they've been playing for several months, and it was only vampires, so I show up as a vampire, you know, try to get involved, try to get it, you know, and whatnot, and it was basically just pushed out all the time, and it was just, like, no fun, and even the, like, people running it who don't play characters, obviously, they're, you know, they're mediating, they're supposed to be completely impartial. We're like, yeah, this is kind of douchey that you guys aren't doing it, and they're like, well, we're kind of busy right now doing, we're gonna just escalate, you know, the situation is like, yeah, and you could always use another vampire because you're going after werewolves. So pushing out the new guy seems like a really dumb idea.
Yeah, but, I got, from talking to Joe, I got the impression that it can be a pretty clicky kind of game.
It very much is. So they kept pushing me out, and like the coordinators were really now getting pissy because, you know, it's like, yeah, you guys have been doing this for several months, but we're the ones that are coordinating this. We're the DMs, and we're telling you you need to. So the guys just, you know, eventually like did in-game like stuff to alienate my vampire in-game to force him never to want to come back. So I'm like, okay, cool. I took over a judge, and I'm like, look, this is my character sheet. because you kind of make a character sheet. Can I do such and such a thing? And they're like, well, yeah. He really couldn't understand what I was trying to do with it, and it was like, all right, cool. How many ever nights are going to be, going on? I'm going to be doing this. They're like, okay, that's really weird. So basically, I literally cooked up and made entire, like, cast steel or cast iron bathtub full of Semtex.
So you blew up those people.
Oh yeah. The GMs were also not happy at that point, except for the one who was laughing his fucking ass off. Who was the main guy running the whole thing? He was like, "Yep, you should always double check who this new guy is. He might have skill points and stuff." I was like, "Yep, he was an old commando, just an old ass, hard ass commando who had to constantly improvise materials in Vietnam, and making your own explosives. Definitely a thing. You needed that, especially if you're behind enemy lines." And he's like, "Yep, I can make all the explosive. I have complete skill in it and everything." So that's what I did. And then I basically just went in while they weren't in their conference room, and like basically layered the bottom of the big heavy wood oak table. I made an entire like inch thick layer of Semtex, set a timer on it, walked out. When the timer went off, they just, like, all the big wigs, the most powerful vampires, were all in there. And they're like, "Don't we get a roll for this?" It's like, dude, your oak table is massive. He just turned the entirety of it into a fragmentation round. Plus the explosion itself does add. None of you saw this coming. You have no ability whatsoever to react to soak this damage. And it is an ungodly amount. The entire top floor of this building is gone. Unfortunately, there's several other buildings on top of it. There's several other layers to this building. I should have said it was an apartment with a nightclub on it. He just blew out the entirety of that. The entire rest of that building is now coming down. Yeah, you're all dead. Period. Like, no rolls. You guys are dead.
Were you getting to stand here while this happened?
Oh yeah, I got to stand there as the player and just stand there and laugh. Like, the other runners were just super pissed off, and the main guy rolling was like, "Nah, he was okay to do this." So yeah, have fun. Everyone, your entire reasoning for pushing this new player out and this new vampire out is now gone. It's a moot point because you're all annihilated.
There you go.
I did not come back to that.
New guy with nukes.
Basically, I was like, yes. Oh yeah, yeah.
It sounds a lot like not vampires, but it sounds a lot like The Old Guard on Netflix.
But yeah, there's all sorts of fun things. But yeah, the scaling in World of Darkness goes wonky. There's things that vampires can do that make werewolves look like children, too. There's an entire power set called Obtenebration, which deals with manipulating shadows. And the very first power level automatically makes werewolves have to make fear check, just because it's just so wrong. Because it allows a vampire to take a shadow of like yourself or like another person and bring it to life. And that is so just wrong to a werewolf that they just automatically go nope, 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 nope. There's other ones like Quietus, allows you to be the perfect assassin, where you can, in a 20-foot radius dome, you turn off all sound inside and outside, so it becomes completely dead in there.
Sounds pretty ridiculous.
Other abilities allow you to go super fucking fast, like ridiculously fast. And if you take the pure form of that, you can actually get to manipulate time.
And so this like goes against anything that I recognize as vampire lore.
Oh yeah, it's old school kind of vampire lore where every vampire, all the firstborn vampires all develop different powers, and then their children all gain powers based on that. I think. And then there's stuff in Mage, because Mage the Awakening is literally you bend the world and reality to your own whims, kind of thing. Yeah, like the creation-based power, at max level, you can basically create out of. You can turn oxygen into gold if you want to. Just be like, cool. I need 250 pounds of gold right now. I'm gonna turn 250 pounds of equivalent of oxygen into gold right now.
Interesting.
Look, pure gold. Everyone have fun. Or, psychotically, you can be like, cool, I need a dirty bomb. I'm going to need 250 pounds of uranium right here, right now.
So it sounds like basically this person's a god.
And not quite. There's a lot of things because with Mage, you run the risk of what's called creating paradox. It's basically the world going, wait, no, you can't do that. Slap. Basically the world rebounding against you. Which gets even worse when you start getting into the time-based power, because obviously playing with time, you already can create an actual paradox, and then getting slapped with paradox points, you can end up like mutilating yourself. So there's a pretty big shtick of, yeah, don't push too hard because the world still has the ability to push back against you.
That's fair.
Hunter is very weird. Yeah, it's very much World of Darkness power creep is relied upon the competent GM to keep it reined in. And obviously, the higher power you get, and the more powerful the GM lets you get, the more powerful the enemies get.
Kind of the way games are supposed to go, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, you're also supposed to like walk into like, oh, we're just gonna go beat up some thugs as werewolves. You're supposed to kind of go in there and just like kick their teeth in and just be okay with it. But then when the thugs might know somebody who might secretly also be like, the evil werewolves, the Black Spiral Dancers, they come a knocking on your door, and then teeth and fur get kicked in, and it's like, this is not a pleasant experience. Maybe we should have thought about our actions. And in Hunter, your Joe Schmo like kind of gets blessed by an angel, maybe? Who knows? And the whole point is, the more powerful you get, the more psychotic you become. Because it's kind of the whole, like, you're a human being. You're immortal. You were not supposed to have this kind of power. And so you kind of burn as you use more and more.
The page of whatever guy.
Yeah.
The book of somebody.
The book of Sean. You're going to burn. Basically, you're burning your soul out to use this kind of power. Mummy is really weird because it's you're basically immortal. You will always respawn. Death means nothing to you. But conversely, there's also a negative version of you out there that you're supposed to basically fight, who's basically a mirror opposite of you.
So if you're good, he's bad. If you're bad, he's good.
Yeah. it gets really weird because no one really plays Mummy. Just like no one. Oh, the other one is Poltergeist. No one also really plays Poltergeist because it's really meh. And then the whole point of these games are to explore different, like, they're different aspects of horror almost. Like, Werewolf is very much body horror. The things you fight in that tend to be more physically monstrous and disgusting. Yeah. In Vampire the Masquerade, it's all about psychological horror. The fact that you are a human who's now turned into a blood-sucking monster, and your ability to control the quote-unquote beast inside of you.
So it sounds like what Hanley just described, kind of like when Kerensky left in the Exodus. And
Yeah.
what was left of the Innisphere was like, cool, let's just keep destroying ourselves to figure out who gets to be king, sort of.
And they do it very well. But it's also very much stated at the beginning of the book that how much fun you're gonna have in these games is pretty much dependent upon the GM.
I mean, that's kind of the way with most roleplay things. If you have a shitty GM, it might not be fun, and if you have a good one, it could be fun. And then also some of the players, I mean, you can have a good GM, but a player can sour a session.
Oh yeah, but in this, it's more dependent upon the GM to create the scenarios properly.
Yeah.
Like, you can sandbox in a lot of games and just have the GM go on the fly, and it works fine. But in World of Darkness, it really is reliant upon the GM understanding everything about the game, and then understanding everything about, the players. Like, the games are not... It is very much grim dark. It is not supposed to be happy, fun time. Like, the McDonald's of the World of Darkness universe is called O'Toole's, and it is literally made fun of in the fact, all fast food is greasy and just nasty for you. In O'Toole's, it actually is horrifying for your soul to eat. It actually, eats your soul.
So you go have your game session at McDonald's in real life, but you call it this, and you eat your souls.
Yeah, it's literally poison for your soul. It actually makes you corrupted. Like, there are monsters in Werewolf that are basically based off of the fact that they did nothing but ate O'Toole's 24/7. And all that corruption just built up, and eventually they just became these disgusting creatures that you now must put down because they are not human anymore. We're talking about once you get the book Freak Legion, which is a Black Dog listed game book, as in this is gonna get some really freaking nasty stuff in here. People might actually leave the table, kind of thing. And
so it's gonna be gross.
It's gonna get nasty. It's gonna just get straight up nasty. There's a Fomori in it, which is where you take an evil spirit and stuff it in someone, called the Rat Plague.
So
Fomori.
Naruto. Didn't he have some evil shoved in him?
Huh?
Naruto, didn't he have evil spirit shoved in him? The Nine Tails?
No, not quite like that, and you get more info on that one later. We're talking about actual full-on evil spirits, ones that represent apocalyptic level stuff.
So you're gonna force a possession on somebody.
Yeah. One of them's called the Rat Plague, which is a plague of rats that now infest your body. As in, you don't have any internal organs or anything, or any skeleton or anything. You just have your brain, and it's not allowed to control the rest of the body. You are filled full of a plague of rats.
Lovely.
And, yeah, now to fight, that Fomori basically spews that all out and discards a flesh sack. and you're just kind of left there staring at this horror as a flesh sack, as it, devours other things and then comes back into you and reinflates you. And then goes back to walking around.
So how do you get back to not being a rat bag?
You die.
Oh, cool. So when someone gets possessed by that, they just go, cool, I'm leaving.
Usually you don't play those things. You don't play it. The GM uses those against you.
Oh, okay. I thought you get possessed and you're screwed.
No, because usually in that game you're playing a werewolf. It's really hard to force a werewolf to be a Fomori. It's really hard. Like, you have to go through a lot of stuff, and usually by then, as a character, you're probably not in control of the character anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah. I've done World War II settings as well with werewolf. It's pretty cool. Doing the Normandy invasion as like a werewolf and a mage was really kind of cool. And really terrifying too, because all of a sudden, like, super elite SS units could be vampires, or they could also be werewolves. Because being a vampire does not innately make you the bad guy, and being a werewolf does not innately make you the good guy. There's bad guys all around.
Thank you, werewolves and vampires.
Yeah.
Do they have abs and
everyone.
flex? Do they take the clothes off and strut around?
I mean, technically, you can get, as a werewolf, you can get talisman of dedication, which is just a little thing that dedicates all your stuff to you, which means you can like switch between your forms, and either like the clothes will grow with you, so you can still be awesome uniform you're wearing, or they could just phase into your fur. So when you shift back and forth, you're not always naked.
Yeah, I was more making fun of Twilight, but
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's you can obviously also still play the game, happy, campy, kind of fun things. But the ones that are really fun, that really stick with you, are ones that are just like straight out, mind screwage.
sounds like you guys have a lot of experience with roleplay games.
Shadowrun is also fun.
Never played it.
Oh, you'd love it.
I own the video games, I just barely touched them.
Fantasy-based cyberpunk.
Isn't like Blight or Bright rather? Isn't that like
Bright
Shadowrun?
It is basically modern-day Shadowrun.
I enjoyed that movie. I was hoping we'd get the second one at some point in, this
Like,
decade.
You can tell how much of a nerd a person is if they ever make the statement, yeah, never make a deal with a dragon. Because then it's like, oh, that's a Shadowrun player. Because it's an actual, like, legitimate quote.
Now I have to make it just to mess with people.
Oh no, now you know. You can make it.
That's true, but I don't know what the reference is other than what it's from.
It's literally that. You don't make a deal with a dragon, because dragons are super powerful in that. Like, if you're a smart Shadowrunner and you are told that a dragon wants to see you, you go, well, I can either kill myself right here, right now, or I can let this meeting happen and basically get killed. It's kind of like the joke of, don't make a deal with the devil because you're screwed.
I would
New
not know.
Shadowrun is Catalyst hasn't done a very good job with the Shadowrun IP as far as writing the books. It gets pretty terrible. In the newest edition, you can't play a hacker. It is absolutely impossible. You just automatically just get completely hosed whenever you do net dives. ice always wins. Ice always hits you. You are always screwed. And the God Hammer always knows where you're at. And you're always like 5 net failures away from God Hammer smashing you and brain frying you. Yeah, several of the corporations are just controlled by super omnipotent AIs that don't sit back. They actually are the defense system as well. Yeah, it doesn't make it fun. In the edition before, hacking was so overpowered. So it's like they did a knee-jerk reaction kind of thing in the new edition. But yeah, in the old edition, you could just hack and hack and hack and hack. And if you started getting building up too many failures, you're just like, oh, well, I guess I'll unplug, wait 1 turn, replug in. Oh, and I'll be reset. Cool. Have fun. But Shadowrun is just insane amounts of fun with a competent DM behind it. Just insane amounts of fun. Our last game session, we all made characters and there was no talk between any of us. We just decided to pick our class or our style of character based on leverage. So we had a hacker, we had a sneak thief or thief, we had the muscle, we had a face, and I forget what the other one is.
You had a muscle and a face.
We built all of our characters solely off of going, well, I'm gonna play this. I said I'll play the face, and then our friend Adam was like, well, then I'll play the muscle, and then no, he was gonna play the thief. He played the thief kind of character, sort of thief muscle kind of thing, and then our other friend Frankie was like, well, I'll play the hacker, and then we had another guy join us, and he played. He was like, well, then I'll play straight up muscle. So we made all the characters just solely on that. And then we did the, not the first session, but like some of the breakdown stuff, the pre-first session stuff. It turns out, like, all of us but one picked elf. So we're like, wait, we're all elves? That's hilarious. So we're all kind of pretty to begin with. We're not really muscly. And then the muscle guy's like, I'm a troll. I'm like, this is gonna be great.
So you were all pretty and he was really ugly.
He was really ugly, but he made up for that in just pure beefcakiness.
Nice.
It was just stupid. So yeah, like our thief was sneaky, but he was a real good gunslinger too. Our hacker happened to be the I believe it's called Technomancer, I think. It's the class that can hack with their brains as opposed to using an actual, like, computer deck to do it, which makes them highly illegal to begin with, because people are like, cool, we want to know how you hack with your brain, so we're going to kill you and, like, dissect your brain. So you always play like you have a fake deck. We had another guy who kind of wasn't there. He was a drone controller. And then the troll was, Mr. I have a fire axe. Okay, what's your backup? The Gauss rifle. And then you had me, who was like, I'm not very useful in combat. I can get my way around a pistol. Later on, I started putting points into long guns. Yeah, it's a rigger who carries drones. But when it came down to like, oh, well, okay, we're going to take this contract. Time to negotiate for better pay. I was like pulling out 15d6 and going like, okay, guys, and just dropping it. Everyone's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, this is me negotiating and not using certain other abilities I have right now. I could get this up to 20 if I needed to.
Oh, wow.
So, like, no one really liked me inside of combat because our first our first session was the a pre-made session called the Stuffer Shack Shootout. Where you're in a Stuffer Shack and another gang kind of like walks in and like holds everyone up, and it's your job to either negotiate your way around this or shoot your way out. So that was the first session, and I did nothing basically other than get splattered with goo. So the next session we show up and we roll our first contract, and I'm like, okay, time to negotiate for more money, and I roll out all this D6s and all like, what the fuck? And our contract went from like 2,500 each to about 7,500 each.
Nice.
They're like, you know what? I don't care if you're bad at combat. You make us way more money. I'm like, yeah, I know.
This is what we do.
And our first real job ends up, just need to get like this. We need to get this package. And it's in a very terrifying part of town and whatnot. And we just hit upon this brilliant idea of like, well, why don't we have our hacker here hack in and get the package rerouted to a UPS store with yada yada name on it, and then yada yada female that's really really hot and has a ridiculous amount of charisma just walks into the UPS store and buys it and just picks it up like it's theirs. And that's what we ended up doing. We had no combat the entire session. It was our best run we did because the rest of the sessions just turned to shit afterwards. Like, did I just lose the internet? Oh,
No, I hear you.
Like, our next one is get this person across the border. Okay, cool. It seems relatively easy. We assume people are going to come gunning for us in some way, shape, or form. We need to kind of kidnap him, too, from his own protection, because his protection is actually trying to deliver him to get killed. Alright, cool. And then our, thief, our gunslinger, gets his contact calls him, and he tries to play the contract both ways. So he's trying to get us double pay by getting payment from our normal contract and from his buddy, but his buddy needs the guy dead. And we're like, where in your right mind did you think this was gonna work properly? He's like, well, I thought I could swing it. I'm like, it's not the intel he's carrying that we care about getting over the border, it's him getting over the border. So if you kill him and we yank the intel out and somehow get it over the border to the people we needed to get to, we're still screwed because the contract was for to get him across the border, not the intel. Him with the intel is the point. Him with the intel without him is not the point.
Sometimes money is louder than intelligence.
It was way louder than intelligence. And then I just like took his character, the troll took his character and shook him because the troll was like on my side all the time, because the troll was like, she can't make pew pew. She make money be bigger though, which is real nice. Like, cause he had all the he took the negatives, like he had a family he had to provide for. So more money is good. He could actually afford to get him into a decent house. So here comes this other knobhead trying to screw them out of getting money and possibly endangering us. So he like shakes them and he's like, next time she makes the deals for money, you don't.
It sounds like you had fun with Shadowrun.
It was a blast because it was just off the walls nutso stuff we did. Like, the DM just did not figure we were gonna come. Like, he had 100 ways to do things, and it's like, why do you guys always insist on using either A, the craziest method to get there, or B, the dumbest method? Like, this is a method I had written up. I was like, no, they won't do that because that's too stupid. And then we pick that one. It's like, oh my god, please. My character had a stupid high living expense because
Squad morale
she
restored.
fancied herself as kind of, high society.
G41NXE, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You are catching me towards the end right now, but we're having a chat with Clan Wolf from the stream about basically nerd stuff. We had a theme when we started, and it's devolved into anything nerd, so thank you for popping in.
So, I had to have, a high luxury of lifestyle and, like, a really nice car. I ended up going through, like, 5 different cars through the entirety of the campaign of, like, either them just getting blown up or being like, look, they have the license plate, they have the registry of this car. I can't, like, remove the registry, the license plate, and the VIN from this car. I guess we just set this out in the middle of, like, Shitsville and let the hobos and the gangers, like, tear it apart.
Now, how often did you let that happen just because you wanted a new car?
Never. Not once.
That's fair.
Because I steadily went down the record of, like, having nice vehicle. I was like, by the end, I was like, it's a nice vehicle. If nice is, like, middle-wage blue-collar worker.
I'm no longer driving a Lambo.
I never drove a Lambo, but it was definitely, like, much better than that. like, definitely, like, starting out, I was like a Model S Tesla kind of vehicle, $60,000 vehicle, and by the end, I'm like, it's nice to have a $10,000 vehicle.
By the end, it's nice just to have a car.
It was because in one of them, I was like, okay, cool. Like, something happened. Something happened to the hacker. He did something while he was in my vehicle, and he set off my vehicle alarm while he was in it, which alerted the baddies to where he was, and they fired an anti-material rifle at it, and just, like, fucking fragged it. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm like, hack me another car. We're not finishing this off without me having a car to get away with. And at the end of that one, we had to ditch that car because it had enough bullet holes in it that it wasn't going to make it to the repair shop ever. It was insane.
It definitely sounds like it.
We did steal an attack helicopter.
That is also insane.
Yep. We were doing a mission. I forget what even the purpose of the run was. And everything went to shit. Someone showed up with an attack helicopter and a whole bunch of goons in powered armor, and the trolls just fighting them. Attack helicopter takes off after we have downed several of their goons, and we're jumping into this, like, armored van to drive away. Attack helicopter comes after us. We kind of lose it in an underpass. And, like, I forget what we ended up doing. We ended up going to where they were, and the stealth boy's like, oh, I'm just gonna use camo. I'm gonna use optical camouflage. I'm gonna go over here. Oh shit, there's, like, way more people in here than I thought. And then he's like, but there's an attack helicopter over there that doesn't seem to be manned right now. He, like, steals it. It was his best theft in the entire game. I'm like, cool, we have an attack helicopter. Yeah, for all of, like, 2 hours before they either send something else after us, or a corp decides to send something after us. I'm like, yeah, that's a good point.
But you still did it.
But he still stole an attack helicopter, which was marvelous. It's not something I recommend anyone do, though.
We here at AMP Services do not condone stealing attack helicopters.
No, we do not. Not when there's something bigger on the other side that wants to kill you. Because of it.
Did the attack helicopter help you kill the big thing that wanted to kill you for stealing it?
No. Because we never allowed the big thing to show up. You're just like, attack helicopter goes here. And we never speak of it again.
Yeah.
Well, what if a madman gets on it? We never speak of it again.
I assumed you guys would just scuttle anything you didn't use.
But we were pretty bad at that.
Get out, leave it. Don't care what happens. Get out. Bye.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you would do.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you guys have a very diverse background of gaming. I do not. It's actually a little sad, if I'm honest. Not sad on you, sad on me. That I am not familiar with most of these things. There was a time I wanted to do this kind of thing a lot more, but you can only go without and try hard and never get to do anything for so long that you finally just be like, screw it, I'm done trying to RP. I used to try a lot to get into stuff with people and just always fell apart or they never did anything.
Yeah. It is a bit of a hassle.
Yeah, I mean, hell, it's a hassle just to be able to play tabletops at this point, but pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID, yeah.
It was still a problem.
Yeah, I've unfortunately fell into the loophole of having to be kind of boring and min-max characters just to play with the other group.
Yep, that's kind of what you discussed with them before, is that's kind of the way they play.
Yeah, it's like, well, if everyone's min-maxing and you're not, you're going to be the one schmuck that's kind of standing there and being like, cool, I'm never useful for a damn thing.
Isn't that kind of why you left the Battletech group to begin with?
It's a bit of that, and it was also the fact that, like, the one guy just that good, and it's just like, he just has no ability to dumb himself down when playing, so when you play against him as the DM for the campaign, he kind of, like, sticks his foot up your ass.
So, yeah, so as a DM, he had... But, I mean, he's a DM, though. You can control that.
You can, but he can't. He can't turn it off. He
Oh,
really
so
has
he is the
issues
person.
Yeah, he really has issues with, as a DM for a Battletech campaign, your job is to come in with, like, a decent force, obviously, but with the idea that I'm supposed to lose.
Yeah,
I should try and make it kind of look like I'm not.
You're a DM. You're a manager of a story. You're not competing against your players. You're the storyteller, the guidance for where it goes. Like, this is from stuff I've watched on YouTube. If you as a GM, from what I've gathered, which makes sense to me, or at least my camp, if you as a GM feel like you're competing against your players, you gotta take a step back and figure out what you're doing wrong. Because, like, you want it to be a challenge, but you're not trying to beat them. If you win a combat, cool. The story goes path A. If you lose a combat, it goes path B. If it's a draw, it goes C. It's like, it's all about where the story goes. If you're creating a character specifically because you're like, I want to kill the whole party or I have to win, it's like, you don't win at GMing. You just get people to the next session. Like, that's unfortunate, man.
But and his idea for winning when he was GMing is you squeak out a victory. And it's like, well, cool. We don't feel like we've gotten any better, like we've achieved anything if that's every single session. Like if it's like, oh hey, this is the big bad merc that we've been trying to chase in the last 5 sessions.
Yeah, and he starts whooping up on you. That makes sense.
And we survive with like one mech that has one arm, both its legs are still there, and that's it. Like everything else is toast. It's like, cool. Can we repair all this stuff? Yes. Do we come out on top? Well, there's enough mechs and mech salvage around that we did kind of come out on top. But if it's always kind of like, you kind of
the
just
Pyrrhic
barely
victory
got
every
there.
time, yeah.
The problem with Pyrrhic victories for, like, if you're running a campaign is we only have a finite amount of resources. They do bleed out.
Yeah, you
The
gotta be able to
enemies
buy mechs and
have
gear.
infinite. you know.
Yep. I have seen that, because, like, you can't just be, like, walk in and be like, well, I'm in this mech. You have to, like, buy it, or you have to be able to find it or salvage it. Like, the GM will set, like, what things you can start with or buy, but, like, if you're like, I really like this mech in this area, you might be like, well, you know, you're gonna have to find one. Or if you're able to find one, you gotta buy it. And you're like, well, why is this mech, you know, 50 million C-bills or whatever the fuck it is? It's like, that's because it's just after Clan Invasion and you're trying to buy a Mad Cat. You go buy a fucking Griffin and get one. But, like, the Clan stuff, you might find it is expensive. I know you want it, but you gotta buy it. It's
super expensive, but yeah. But, and then the other, on the opposite side, when he's a player, he's so good that it doesn't matter what the DM tries to do. You know, he's got enough tactics and positioning, like, because he's been playing the game long enough. He knows how to do all the stuff, like how to, when to just go, nah, screw it, run straight up the board, don't care, and it turns out better. Or when it's like, okay, time to, like, walk, and, you know, where to position to try and force enemies, you know, the GM to react to him and all that.
It's like he knows the game, but he's not able to play a player. Like, there's sometimes when you play role-playing and you may know something as a player, but you respond a certain way because that's how the character would be responding.
I mean, not so much as when he's playing, he's great because he usually rolls up, stereotypically oddly, with characters that are high command. You know, so his characters do understand that and should be played like that. It's just the fact that he can't dumb himself back down, and he's not also really good at letting other people be the spotlight.
Yeah, I dealt with that when I ran Star Wars. We had people competing for it. It was bad.
Yeah, and that's the thing with him as the DM. It very much doesn't feel... It's not so much that as a DM he feels like he's trying to kill you so much as he wants the spotlight to still be on him.
No.
You know?
As the DM spotlights after the session when the group tells you that was awesome, great story. During the thing, like, it's your characters. Like, he's Tolkien, and you guys are fucking Legolas and Gimli, and he's got the book, but you're playing the characters. Like, yeah, he gets the spotlight for making a cool story, but, like, you were the actors, you were the characters in that story. There's a time and a place. Yeah, I get it. And Hanley brings up a good point, like, he says the DM/GM should see the role as creating a story, then revealing it to their friends, not anything else. And I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the issue is, like, that's how he is in all his stuff, too. So, like, everything is kind of a slog. All the games are focused around him. Mostly because he plays the characters that are high charisma characters that are the face. To the point where it's just like when I play with it, as if he's a player now and I'm a player and everyone else, you know, whoever else is a player, usually we're just like, yeah, he's in charge. Just because there's no point not to, because it's going to be him. Like,
yeah. I mean, I hope you have fun doing what you do, but I wouldn't deal with that. I would just be like, I'll just go have fun somewhere else. Like, if you can't share the spotlight, I also feel like you're failing as a player too. Because, like, if you have that much experience, you should know, like, hey, this guy over here, he's never got to lead the group. Let me try and... I want to have an impact on the story, too, and help guide it, because I know so much about this shit. I'm
pretty sure it stems from a psychological thing, obviously.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not going to throw anyone who might be watching under the bus for this or anything like that, but, like, he's a bigger guy, and I assume he's probably been a bigger guy.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of through all his life.
I mean, if I'm honest, that I give a slight pass to it, but there are reasons why I like Warhammer 40 game. We've talked about it on stream. I'm not a very confident guy. I'm not a very aggressive guy. I like Warhammer. I like role-playing things because in that universe, I'm never going to be a space marine. I'm never going to be a soldier. But in this universe, I can be something I am not in real life. So I get it. Like, he may have the self-esteem or confidence issues, but at some point it's like, you got friends there with you too, you know, like, give them the time to shine.
You've been out of high school for more than 20 years, dude. It's time to let high school be done.
Yeah, and also, like, sure, like you said, there might be an underlying reason, self-conscious and whatnot, weight issues, whatnot, but, like, also, it's a matter of perspective, and everyone's got their own state of mind, but, like, you guys still coming to show up and play with him, like, you got friends, bud. People want to hang out with you. Like, show a little bit of appreciation and kind of, like, take your knowledge. Maybe that's a little bit of hubris. Like, I'm so good at the game. How can I make them have a better time in the game because I'm so good at the game? Like, it's a little bit of reverse psychology, but, like, when I've played role-playing games or ran games, there have been a few instances where I have tried really hard to give someone a spotlight when they're trying and the group's not helping them. I'm like, no, we're gonna get the spotlight on you. I want you to have, like, you are doing something cool this session and they're ignoring you. Nah, this is where the story's going. Let me try and help you, because, like, we had a guy, he kind of stuttered a little bit and he would really get quiet when people talked. They'd talk over him, so he'd stop doing what he was doing in the role-playing game I was running, and he tried to do something once, and one of the guys looked at him and told me he was stupid, and I was like, no, you shut up. I was like, you, Sean, what do you want to do? I said, don't listen when he has to say. That's stupid. If you want to have fun, do a thing and say a thing. Like, no, we're not playing that game. Somebody shouldn't be sitting there telling you you're stupid because you want to do something. And what he was doing wasn't stupid. It just wasn't what the other guy wanted. He was trying to, like, hack a terminal or something. And it was trivial. It was like, I just want to hack this door and get us in, instead of, I don't know, blowing the door up. And it's like, it's a dice roll to hack a door. He is a slicer in Star Wars. It's what he does. Let him do it. Stop being a chick. And that guy that said that to him turned around at one point in the session and pulls out a Nintendo DS and starts playing it. At that point, I was like, the hand cleaning off, and I was like, all right, roll initiative, guys. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, just roll initiative. And I took my little stat book with all the NPCs, and I just literally went, okay, this is whatever number you have for attack or HP. I'm just going to times it by 10. And the whole group almost died. And then by the end of it, they were just looking at me, and they didn't have fun. I'm like, was that fun for you? And they were like, no. I was like, it wasn't fun for me, but if you're going to waste my fucking time, I will try and kill your characters, and we'll go do something else. It's so stupid. And we had, when I ran my game, you've heard this before, but I'm going to ramble for a second. When I ran my Star Wars campaign, I told people to start. Here's kind of what I want to do. Make some characters that fit here. I'm looking to have one Force user as a Jedi, and someone can do it. Just let me know who wants to do it, and that'll be you, and you pick it, build your character, do your thing. So we had a Jedi, and my whole story was like, this is a Jedi who survived the Clone Wars, and he's in hiding. And then the guy plays this character as a drunken Force user who says he wasn't a Jedi ever. And I'm like, but you were supposed to be. That was the only restriction, was you had to be a Jedi. And then you could build it any other way. And then we had so he wanted to lead the group, but not lead the group, if that makes sense. And we kept having instances where we would spend, exorbitant amounts of time in real life where they were trying to figure out what they wanted to do, and then he would be like, I'm going to get drunk in a pub or something dumb. And it's like, you wanted to lead, and we're spending time with you just sitting at a table doing nothing. And then when one of the other guys in the group's like, okay, well, if he wants to do that, we got a mission we want to do. I think this is what we're going to do. And then he would start kind of taking the reins and going, and then that would cause a confrontation where, like, because player B didn't get to choose where he wanted to do, and player A made a choice instead of sitting around doing nothing, then the other player would be like, well, now I want to go over here and do this. And it's like, they've already made a decision, and I'm not going to run two split stories. Follow the fucking group. He was going to let you lead. And, like, outside of the campaign, my buddy was like, yo, he can lead. I'm cool with it. He just needs to make decisions. He's not, and we're sitting here doing nothing, so I'm going to make decisions so we can play the game. It was so stupid. It was a nightmare. And then we had one guy who showed up. I was like, make your characters, do your thing. He sits down to describe his character, and I shit you not, he says, I'm like, all right, well, you're in a bar, you've just met these guys, you're sitting down, describe the setting, and he's like, well, I walk up to the Jedi, and I'm like, you don't know he's a Jedi. Out of character, you guys kind of understand where the story's starting. You don't know that. And he's like, well, I walk up to the Jedi, and then he's describing how he looks, and, like, basically describes Boba Fett, and I'm like, no fucking way. You're not, oh my god. So he walks up to a Jedi, post-Clone Wars, dressed as Boba Fett, he says, and I'm like, no, and I'm shaking my head, and then he's like, and I'm going to introduce myself as TK421. I was like, fucking no. Your name is not TK421, and you're not dressed as Boba Fett. What is wrong with you? Who shows up to the session to introduce themselves to the group as, I dress as Boba, my name's TK421? I'm like, oh my god, what am I dealing with here? Oh, dude, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute nightmare. Yeah. Like, and then, like, one guy in the group, he was basically like Order 66. I think like Rex, doesn't turn. This was before the Clone Wars show, yada yada.
And then after he describes kind of the little bit of backstory he needed to, the other guy's like, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm a clone who didn't turn too. And I'm like, do you know how rare it would be to have a clone who didn't turn? Let alone 2 of them in the same cantina at the same time. Like, you're literally not trying. Why are you even here? It was so stupid, man. Yeah, so wrangling people is difficult. And it's like, as a GM, I am volunteering my time to run this story for you and try and have fun with you. If you're not going to show up on time, if you're going to be an asshole to players, or you're going to show up and play a Game Boy DS in the middle of the session, we are going to do something else. Or you can go home and I'll do something else. I do not have a lot of time. Yep. And yeah, so you're responding to Hanley, yeah. Less about the skill part, but more the issue that I ran into is we had a couple of DMs locally. One who did stupid shit all the time, and it wasn't fun. The other one who didn't have a lot of experience, which I played with him. He was a DM. He was reasonably fine, but when a player would do something dumb, he just let him do it. Wouldn't stand up for it, and I won't. Like, if you're going to try and break the game and do something dumb, and we're not having fun, we're fixing it or we're done. Like, I have to manage you like a fucking employee, and if whatever you're doing is making it to where no one else wants to show up, the point of the RP is not happening. And specifically, I'm referencing a player who was abusing a rule that got FAQ'd to not be used in conjunction with something else, and the GM, instead of saying, hey, just reallocate that skill point and fix it because it breaks the game, he let him keep doing it. And I'm like, your Jedi's unkillable. Literally unkillable. And FFG says, can't do this, and he made him unkillable. And I was like, that's cool. We can take on the whole Sith fucking fleet, and this Jedi can stand here, and the fleet can bombard the planet, and we will die, and he'll stand there, deflect it all. There's no way he's going to die. And the GM let him do it, and I'm like, all right, it's fine. It's over. The story's over. There is no sense of urgency to anything we do, and there's no risk. And then I volunteered to run, and I bought a whole bunch. This was pre-FFG. It was like, I think it was the Saga Edition, WotC stuff. I bought a whole bunch of hardback books. I was super pumped. The agreement was I run the first campaign, and when I'm done, I can loan my books to someone else, and they'll run. So we made it through the campaign, and then nobody ran for me, and the books sat around for a while, and then I sold them all. Yep. So not only do you have a skill issue, like you were talking about, you also have, like, everyone wants to be a player, no one wants to play, or wants to run, just like in MMOs, there are a handful of people, like GMs, who want to be the core of a group. They want to be the healer and the tank. You have infinitely more people who want to be DPS. They want to be the Legolas. They want to blow everything up. They don't want to have any type of responsibility. And when it comes to DMing, there's a certain expectation there, or a certain responsibility. You have a job. No one wants to do it, but they're eager to jump in a group and then not appreciate, now this is me generalizing, but oftentimes not appreciate what goes into trying to run a campaign. So, yep. And as you guys notice, I've already sat down the paintbrush and cleaned up there, because I knew that ramble was going to take me 5 minutes.
We're going to go forever.
We can. If I didn't have to work today, I'd keep talking. But here's my Awesome, my Thunderbolts, and my Urban Mech. And the blues are all a little bit varied on each one because I've painted them in different sessions, but they're still pretty close. I'm really liking them. It's a very striking scheme, very different than what I normally do. Kind of pushing the envelope and trying new stuff. And I think this guy in particular is going to be really cool once we get that arm done and we get that blue fading across his head and his cockpit. And then back here, like, we don't have, like, one more session, I think we'll have the blue done. Then we got to put the gold stripes and start enhancing the black a little, put the details in. I think the Awesome here is going to take some time because I want to do checker pattern up here on his shoulders. That seems like a thing you should do, so he'll really stand out.
That highlighting, man, it makes it look so cyberpunk. It's sexy.
It definitely turned into a very almost Tron-esque scheme. I pushed the contrast. Maybe one might argue a little too much. One might argue just enough. Like, some people like it, some people don't. It's not my 100% favorite thing, but I do like it. I think if I toned the highlights down a little bit to where they were more in the extremes and not quite as prevalent, it would be a bit more realistic. But I think for something that I've put a lot of time into it and will be on the tabletop, this is going to look great. And I didn't realize it when I was working on it. I'm not only working on a lance and trying to paint them all to look good, I'm working on terrain. And once I get these guys done and my terrain done, I will have some really nice painted mechs to do photography with too, which is going to be pretty fucking awesome. I'm excited. So, But on that note, folks, we are to the end of the stream today. So let's see who we've got online for a potential raid. Who we got?
Hey, I'm gonna take a. What the hell? I'm
You're
gonna take a
what?
picture of my warden and like send it to you after stream and ask for your advice. On some
Yeah.
stuff.
I'll take a peeky peek at it and let you know. As we sign off here today, folks, I am going to throw a raid over to Cutthroat Cure. If you guys happen to go over there in this raid, hit that follow button, show some hobby love, and let them know who sent you. But as always, let's end on some positive notes and leave you guys with something that hopefully makes you feel a little bit better than you did when we started hanging out today.
I don't know. I felt pretty good before we started hanging out. Now I just feel fantastic.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. So first and foremost, thank you to everyone who hung out with me today. As you guys already know, we got Mr. Clanwolf here in the chat with us, and he's been keeping me company, which is always a pleasure. Being able to talk about all things, I was going to say 40K, but it's not. All things hobby-related and gaming-related and nerddom. We've gone from Battletech to 40K through World of Darkness, and now we went from Shadowrun to D&D to Star Wars. Like, we've been across a lot of different games, a lot of different settings, a lot of different information. Today's been a pretty dope stream. So I hope you guys have had fun, and I've appreciated your company. And it's, again, always nice having Clanwolf hanging out with me. But we do have to get ready to sign off. So, as always, if I can leave you with one thing, it would be to encourage you to pick up a paintbrush whenever you've got the time. Put paint to model, and don't allow your fears and anxieties and worries to dictate what you do in this life and in your hobby. Sometimes we have a hard time seeing the journey through the lens of trying to complete something, and you gotta take that step back. You gotta adjust your scope and focus on what's important. You will get your minis done eventually, but don't allow the grind to get to that completion, the pursuit of perfection or finishing a project to allow you to feel burnt out or to feel anxious or worrisome. You should be enjoying the painting, you should be enjoying forging the narrative and creating something truly unique to you. If you feel like you're getting stressed out by trying to get something done quickly, take that step back and reflect. Figure out what you need to do to find your hobby center. Maybe that means changing up the details you're working on, changing the scope of what you're working on from an army to a unit to a single character, or taking a break altogether. But don't allow yourself to burn so bright so fast that you burn yourself out of the hobby prematurely. If you guys change your focus and make sure you're approaching it from a healthy perspective, this can be a lifelong experience, a lifelong hobby that we can all enjoy. This should be your form of self-expression, your catharsis, your way to express yourself through your art to others, a way to lose yourself in a universe of your choosing. Every miniature, every piece that you pick up can have a universe, a battles it's taken part in, name, things that they have done. What are those to you? As Bob Ross would say, this is your world. You are the creator. With one brushstroke at a time, you can forge a narrative, a world of your choosing. And right now, more than ever, when things seem so far beyond and outside of our control, this is somewhere we can have a little bit of control. One brushstroke at a time, you can lose yourself in something. You can try and cover up what might be a bad day with something that feels a little bit better, a little bit of control in the universe that you choose. And as you've painted those minis and forged those narratives, I highly encourage you guys to get out there when it's safe to do so in person. Play games with people, share your narrative, share your tabletop enthusiasm with them, allow your stories to clash on the battlefield, forge those memories worth remembering. But don't forget about the digital aspect of things as well. I highly encourage you guys to get out there on DeviantArt, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, Twitch if you're there, anything in between. Reddit, I forgot that one as well. Post up your hobby progress. The world right now, social media right now, has a way of grinding us down. We are bombarded constantly on a day in and day out basis with negative shit, the news, what's going on in the world, propaganda, bad shit, everything. It just seems to be negative. We can be a part of the solution to that problem. We can flood our social media feeds with positivity, hobby happiness, the things that make us happy in this life. And I promise you, right now, there's somebody swiping through their phone who's having a bad day. There's someone feeling down, feeling depressed, not motivated to work on their models. Your pictures, your models, your hobby happiness could be what comes across their feed. You could be that catalyst that gets them out of that hobby funk and gets them to pick up that paintbrush, gets them to try and do something again. There is somebody right now who's doing the same thing, who's never seen Warhammer miniatures before, or Battletech, or D&D minis, whatever it is you're doing. They've never seen it. You could be that first post they see with like, hey, that thing's fucking cool. I want to get into that hobby. You could be that catalyst. You could light that fire within them that grows into something awesome. We can't have that if you guys aren't out there blasting social media with the things that make you happy. So highly encourage you guys to get out there, share your work, throw some tags on it, and try and leave a little bit of your mark on the happy little hobby world that we all share. And as we end today's stream, as always, I'd like to encourage you guys to leave the world a better place than you found it in every sense of that statement, in every way you can interpret it. You never know what people are going through in their everyday lives, and it pays to be kind always. Those that you're engaging with may be having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, a bad go at life in general. But I promise you, you are equipped, you are armed with the tools to have a positive impact on others should you choose to, should you bring those tools to bear. Simply by saying please, thank you, making eye contact, smiling, holding a door open for someone, making someone feel like a valued human being can be the difference between a good day and a bad day for them. I highly encourage you guys to leave this world, not leave this world, sorry, to sail through this life, leaving happiness and positivity in your wake. There's enough negativity and bullshit in the world. Let's be a part of the solution and not the problem. And now that I've gotten my message out there, you give me a moment to preach. It's time to step down from the pulpit here to kick that soapbox off from under me and get this raid going out to Cutthroat Cure here. And again, if you guys happen to go over there, hit that follow button, show some hobby love, and let them know who sent you. I hope you guys have had an awesome holiday here. I hope you have an awesome new year. I don't think that I'll be on Friday, so that means my next stream session will be on Monday. So thank you guys again for hanging out with me. I hope you have an awesome holiday, a new year. Hopefully 2021 is better. Set some awesome hobby goals and keep yourself positive. As always, keep paying those models, keep rolling those dice, and I will catch you guys hopefully next Monday.